Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Nice to have you here. Before the music ends, we just play it again. It's just the best music ever. It is from good old Summon Night Swordcraft story. I must not lose the battle. That's the name of it. Pretty fantastic. Nice, Andres is here. Welcome. Welcome Kirdan. Welcome Andres. Welcome Angmar. Nice to have you here. Can't find a dancing emote. I think you need better Twitch TV for that. So yeah, here we are. I'm a bit still in setting everything up. I hope this works with the stream. Shouldn't the chat activated? I don't know, but we will find out. And we can watch it over YouTube, and we can watch it over thing. Oh, I should get rid of this chat. Chat is always dangerous territory on Twitch. I have it installed, but the modes don't show up. I also need to install it now that I'm thinking about it on my thing here. I hope everything is okay and you can hear me. I'm actually not sure how this copyright stuff is working. I hope the first part of the stream does not get flagged for the music. But it's really good music. I also placed the title somewhere, right? I'm okay. Yeah, get well soon, Andres. Bible thump. I can hear, that's good. That's the most important part. So here we are, waiting for the NASA stream thing to start. Hope it would be funny. I will stop the music in a moment, so when this part gets claimed, I can just cut it out and I'm not in trouble. That's always the important part. I think for video game music it usually shouldn't be a problem, but it's obviously probably by Japanese companies. And then things get interesting when it comes to stuff like this. Okay, Angmar is also doing well, that's good to hear. I'm also quite well. I just ate a lot, so I'm full. That's probably not a good condition to stream, I guess. So we have 11 minutes until the stream is starting, I guess. That's still a lot of time, but I thought, why not start already? And yeah, we can look a bit into the NASA stuff. Might be interesting. You can actually look how this mission basically will look. That we can, on Wikipedia I saw, there is this description of the landing as an animation. So we can just watch that for a moment. Should be public domain. So on February 18th, 18th of February 2021, it's yeah. Is there a better resolution for it? There is actually. Let's skip ahead a bit because the date is not that interesting. Delish. Yeah, I'm also curious. So that is the heat shield, I think, of the of this little spacecraft. Let's call it that way. We see it again. Very reminiscent to Kerbal Space Program, in my opinion. Well, probably because Kerbal Space Program is reminiscent to real science and space stuff, so probably that's. And in this capsule there is this rover. It weighs, I think, around 1,000 kilograms, so a ton, like a car. I think it's also relatively big. I don't have the measurements in my head right now. Then it falls down and opens a parachute. And of course the atmosphere of Mars is not that as dense as it is on Earth. So the parachute is not that effective, but it's still quite useful. But it probably, I assume that's why the second stage, it's not enough to just only use the parachute. So it basically drops this thing out. And then it drops the rover out. No, not the rover, like a little spacecraft that's basically there to slow it down again. I mean, this thing weighs a ton or so, so probably you need a lot of parachute for it on a atmosphere that's not that dense. I'm not sure, not an expert on parachute and Mars atmosphere density, but it needs rockets to stop the falling velocity, to kill it, to land safely. It's also kind of cute. It has a little ropes there, and it lets it down. Interesting detail: the front wheels are in an angle. I assume to stop. I assume it's to kill the, if it's realistic, the movement forward when it lands. Maybe just like to basically to brake. That's my interpretation of it. Maybe there's some smarter reason for it, why it's why they are aligned like this. They're facing each other, if you know what I mean. But maybe I'm wrong here. I have no idea. Just my little theory here. And this is how basically it will look. Of course, we won't get this cool camera angle as we get here in this fancy animation here. But also let's check if something changed. We have 7 minutes. Okay, nothing happened there. Yeah, and that's what will happen. Yeah, it has the size of a car as well. It's fairly big. I think there's a screenshot here on this page. Maybe there are dimensions. So it's 2 meter length, and it's 2.2 meters high. It weighs 1,025 kilogram, has 110 watts of power. That's also impressive. What is HP? Like usually these are the imperial metrics. So diameter is 2.7 meters. It's a small car, but it's a car, definitely. Horsepower, okay, yeah, of course. So HP, what could this be? Hit points or whatever? No, horsepower, of course. Makes totally sense. It was like, yeah, this picture here, it's probably from the perspective not ideal, but you see those people, at least you get a feeling how big this thing is, I think. It's not ideal for real size comparison, but I think you get the point. It's not like a little rover here. Oh, Chickerick is here. Hello, Mr. Person. It is that I is here, and that after that he's gone. Okay. Hey, hi, Chickericky, and see you next time. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so basically we get an idea how big this is and what it does. We also find this here in the mission thing at the beginning. I looked a bit into it as preparation for the stream. A man of focus. Yeah, totally. So looking for habitability, which means to identify environments capable of supporting microbial life. So basically they are looking if there was once or still exists some life forms on Mars. In microscopic, whatever the correct word for it is, on a very small scale. Also interesting, they're preparing for humans, so they test oxygen production from the Martian atmosphere. Is it pronounced Martian? I assume it is, right? Let's consult the Cambridge Dictionary just to make sure.
Martian.
It seems like it. That sounded pretty German, to be honest. Even see, I don't. What's the verb? What's the word in German? Marsianisch. Yeah, I think usually we just make we make a. Yeah, of course, we make a construction out of it. Either we just put the word Mars in front of it and then put the word in German, or we say he's off Mars or on the Mars or whatever. So we'd call not Martian atmosphere, would say Mars atmosphere. Yeah. A man of focus. So quite interesting stuff going on there. Quite exciting. I have to look out that I don't miss this. I also have programmed. No, program is not the right word. I added a command with link. Just I need to hit the enter button correctly, and then it posts the links to this actual stream If you prefer watching the NASA stream yourself, or I assume it's also streamed on Twitch. I don't know though. It's definitely streamed on the YouTube side of NASA. So, and NASA also has a Twitch channel. I assume it will be on it too, but I'm not sure about the Twitch one. But definitely will run on the YouTube channel. As far as I know, at least. Really curious what's going on there. Let me just check some stuff in the background. Sometimes I tab a bit around and I'm a bit distracted. Just checking my sound volume stuff too. Okay, that works. What can I do besides talking about stuff? So we can get rid of this, can open the be right back thing. Yeah, that works too. So I've already done that. I need a lot of preparation for some other stuff that's coming up in the future. Kind of interesting. Wait, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do this, so I can't. I hate right issues, right? I have a YouTube playlist, which is nice. And it's a YouTube audio library, so I could basically play stuff from there. But we have some background noise. We could also start a game or something. We have 2 minutes 22. I have a lot of stuff in the background that wants to be updated. Should not be too big here. Bannerlord got a new update. It was almost a gigabyte. So a lot of stuff. And Blasphemous got a free update, by the way. Shoutouts to that game. And they added, I don't know what they added. There was a cooperation with the Bloodstained people on. So Miriam from the Bloodstained, the Metroidvania, from the guy who made Castlevania Symphony of the Night. He made also Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. And the main character is called Miriam, and she is now in Blasphemous, it seems, for whatever reason. There are new attacks and, I don't know, a new mode, a boss rush mode or whatever. So they did a little cool update there. It's pretty nice. Not sure if we will check it out, though, but it's there for people interested in that game. There is a new update coming. Are there any other news that might be interesting for people? Yeah, okay. Yesterday we had the Nintendo Direct. It wasn't too spectacular, to be honest, but kind of what I expected. Okay, so there's an interesting news for World of Warcraft fans. Blizzard accidentally released their BlizzCon press kits. Burning Crusade Classic confirmed. So they will definitely... I mean, people, I assume... I have a lot of friends who play Classic right now. Or several friends. And they talked about... It's not announced yet that World of Warcraft will bring out the Burning Crusade update. So Burning Crusade should be the next upgrade, right? WoW expansion list. Let's see, what's the list? Burning Crusade from 2007 is the second, then Wars of Lich King, Cataclysm, and so on. Oh, there's something turning in the background. Let's open it up. Kind of cool. So yeah, maybe some people that might be interesting too. Could shut this down. I have a very huge playlist with classic stuff from the Super Nintendo era. Also, and other retro style soundtracks in the back going on. Now, I played it for a few weeks, but I simply don't. I'm not a huge fan of MMOs. I just don't like them too much, so I never got really into any MMOs. The only MMORPG I played a tiny bit was Star Wars Galaxies and Empire Divided. That was kind of cool.
As the countdown to Mars continues, the perseverance of humanity launching the next generation of robotic explorers to the Red Planet.
Only 720p. We can check out. Oh no, I did mistakes here. That's the animation we just saw. So far, it's not on Twitch. So you have to maybe watch it on YouTube. Chibi MMOs. Mostly play Asian MMOs. Aren't Asian MMOs incredibly grindy? Also, I ask myself, where's this thing flying to? Where's it going? Where's it going? Also, they dropped the heat shield on the Mars surface.
Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California. We are gearing up for NASA's Perseverance rover to touch down on Mars. Happening in an hour and a half from now, the rover will attempt to land in Jezero Crater. It is the most difficult landing site on Mars ever attempted. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Raquel Villanueva. In the past, mission team members gathered in our mission control for landings. But this time around, we have COVID safety measures in place. Today's landing will look a little different than what you've seen before. I am in a room by myself, and so is my co-host. Here in the Spaceflight Operations Facility, team members are in different parts of this building. Some are in mission control, others are upstairs for landing operations. We also have isolated rooms for our guests on this show. In total, we have 8 locations covered by 14 robotic cameras that you will be seeing. One of those locations is the dark room, the heart of NASA's Deep Space Network. Think of it as a giant communication switchboard. This is where spacecraft phone home to us from across the solar system and interstellar space. The Deep Space Network has been tracking Perseverance since it left Earth, and there are lots of ways you can watch landing today. We have a 360-degree camera inside the control room. It lets you experience the landing right along with the team while seeing this broadcast. We also have the clean feed. It shows an uninterrupted view of mission control and audio. También tenemos un programa en español. To tell us about it is host Diana Trujillo, who also works on the mission.
Thank you, Raquel. We're so excited to be the sister live broadcast in Spanish. Sintonízate nuestro programa en las redes sociales de Twitter, YouTube y Facebook en la NASA en español para que nos acompañes a un tour virtual de la NASA con entrevistas con astronautas, con participación de artistas, con entrevistas con científicos e ingenieros de Perseverance, con Plaza Sésamo y mucho más. ¡Te esperamos!
Gracias, Diana. And don't forget, we want to see how you are watching the landing today. Use the hashtag Countdown to Mars to send us your photos and videos. To preview what interviews are coming up is my co-host from the JPL News Office, Marina Jurica.
Thanks so much, Raquel. The excitement is building behind me right here in Mission Control as we count down to the Perseverance landing. We will be talking to some of
Make it a bit less loud so we can talk a bit.
From scientists to engineers on the Mars
And just see what interesting stuff they have to say.
To folks from NASA headquarters.
There's a lot of introduction right now. And we are all experts, we of course know what's going on, right?
Later, we will also be speaking with the students who named the rover and the helicopter. Inspirational stories as we prepare for another landing on the red planet. Back to you, Raquel.
Thanks, Marina. Let's give a shout out to the students around the nation learning about Perseverance's mission to Mars with their teachers. We're happy you're with us on this exciting day. Later in the show, we will be answering some of the questions you submitted through your classrooms. Landing on Mars
we
is
did not submit
complex.
anything. We were lazy.
The team will be calling out milestones as they happen. It's fast.
Is Angmar still here? Did he submit something? Is he in school right now?
Translate and explain what is going on in mission control is Swati Mohan. She is part of Perseverance's landing team. Thanks for guiding us through landing today, Swati.
Hi, Raquel. I'm happy to be here today.
So, Swati, what is the status of the Perseverance rover right now?
So Perseverance is still in space right now, about
Rover, make a rover
9,000
fee.
miles from Mars. So far, she is healthy and on course.
And it takes time to send signals between
Probably not
Earth and
enough
Mars.
traffic there
Can
to
you let
delay
us
the
know
rover.
How that affects the information you are seeing?
So Mars is about 127 million miles from Earth right now. That means it takes
I'm
about
out of school. Oh,
11
okay.
minutes from light to travel from Mars to Earth. So all the information information that we received from Perseverance actually happened 11 minutes ago. So the round trip
Unpleasant.
is 22 minutes for us to send a command to Perseverance and hear back on the ground that she's received that command. This is what we call two-way light time.
That's good to know. And can you tell us who else is in the room with you right now?
The operations team is split into two different areas. Here in the cruise mission support area, we have primarily the team that has been flying Perseverance from Earth to Mars. You'll see the placards with the roles of each of the people by their stations. Some of the people you may hear talking today are the flight director, who is the conductor of our operations orchestra here, the entry, descent, and landing activity lead, who is a member of the landing team tasked with understanding the execution of entry, descent,
I don't see my mouse cursor.
and then also the telecommunications and entry, descent, and landing communications engineers who will be monitoring the signal from Perseverance through the different paths that we have. Upstairs, in what we call the war room, we have almost the entire entry, descent, and landing operations team. And then across the hall from them, we have the surface mission control room, where the surface
Damn
operations
mighty
team
things.
is ready and waiting to take over as soon as Perseverance's wheels touch the ground.
And you have been part of this mission for years now. Can you tell us what have you been working on?
I've been working on Perseverance for almost 8 years now as a guidance, navigation, and control engineer, working primarily on entry, descent, and landing. One of my big tasks was to help with terrain relative navigation. Perseverance will be the first mission to fly terrain relative navigation. So while she's descending on the parachute, she'll actually be looking at the ground with a camera, seeing where she is with respect to the Martian surface, and choosing a safe spot to land that she can get to. After so many years of working on the mission, it's an honor to be here today as the mission commentator.
We're happy to have you here. Thanks, Swati. We'll be checking back in with you in just a few minutes as Perseverance approaches its next milestone. But for now, let's learn more about the rover's mission once it lands on Mars.
Okay, that might be interesting now to learn more about the mission.
Mars is the closest place that we can reach with robotic exploration that we think had a really good chance of having ancient life.
The Perseverance rover will land at a location called Jezero Crater. Jezero Crater is a very interesting place. It's a crater that once held a lake.
There are a lot of craters on the surface of Mars that could have once hosted ancient lakes, but not every crater that we think had a lake actually preserves evidence that that lake was there.
It had an inflow channel and it had an outflow channel. That means it was filled. The crater was filled with water.
In Jezero, we have probably one of the most beautifully preserved delta deposits on Mars in that crater.
This is a wonderful
Well,
place
that's why
to
they
live
choose this
for
landing site.
microorganisms, and it is also a wonderful place for those microorganisms to be preserved so that we can find them now so many billions of years later.
There is no other place on Mars that has the unique combination of a lake setting, a beautifully preserved delta, and the diverse mineralogy that we have in Jezero Crater. So it's truly a special landing site.
The major goal of the Perseverance mission is to investigate astrobiology on Mars, and in particular, to address the question of whether life ever existed on Mars. The Perseverance rover starts with a design that's very similar to Curiosity. We've added to it a whole new set of science instruments, and these science instruments were purposefully selected to help us in the search for biosignatures.
We're going to be taking microphones with us. For the first time, we're going to have that human sense on another planet.
Perseverance carries with her a grand experiment in space.
It's kind of quite cool that they have microphones.
Helicopter.
How does Mars sound?
Is now Ingenuity.
One of the major upgrades that Perseverance has from Curiosity is that it's able to self-drive for a distance of up to 200 meters per day. As the rover is driving, it's literally building the map of the road it's driving on Mars.
Scientists for years have told us that to really unlock the secrets of Mars, we have to bring samples from Mars back to Earth.
So what Mars 2020 is going to do is to drill samples put them in small tubes. We're going to seal it in its own individual tube. We set them on the surface to provide a target for the second 2 missions, which hopefully will get in development in the next several years and could potentially get the samples back to Earth by 2031.
Perseverance is a very,
It's like how they plan in the
profound
future.
first step in both our understanding of our place in the universe and a stepping stone towards human exploration on Mars.
You are watching live Mars landing commentary, and Perseverance is about to reach another important milestone. Swati, can you tell us what is happening?
We are at a milestone where the operations team determines whether they're ready to turn off the transmitter to Perseverance. Turning off the transmitter is like taking your hands off of the wheel. At this point forward, Perseverance would be on her own to execute entry, descent, and landing over 500,000 lines of code. Let's listen in.
Dudum. What is this? This is my internet connection? Or is it on their side?
Off the transmitter to Perseverance. Turning off the transmitter is like taking your hands off of the wheel. At this point forward, Perseverance would be on her own to execute entry, descent, and landing over 500,000 lines of code. Let's listen in.
Go.
Okay, now it works.
Propulsion. Go. Art lead. Go. Team chief. Go. Ace. Go. Launch cruise phase lead. Go. Deputy mission. Go. EDL phase lead. Go. Mission assurance. Mission assurance is go. Chief engineer. Chief is go. Project manager. Projects go. Mission manager. All stations are go for transmitter off. Copy flight. Go for transmitter off.
There you have it, Raquel. We have deemed Perseverance ready to execute entry, descent, and landing on her own.
Thank you, Swati. As we just heard, Perseverance is now operating on its own as it cruises closer to Mars. To help explain what this mission means for the agency is NASA's Associate Administrator, Thomas Zurbuchen. Thomas, this is our 5th rover sent to Mars since 1997. Can you tell us how Perseverance is going to kickstart a new era?
Wow, this is such an important day today, and it really is the beginning of a new era in a sense that we're going from exploration, with experiments on rovers, looking around, doing analysis, to the
Central European, German or something.
Not only looking around, looking at the geology, but really turning our rover into a robotic geologist and astrobiologist, collecting samples that we will bring back to Earth. And for us, of course, those are where the best laboratories are of all of humanity. Some of them still remain to be explored by some that are not yet in the science community yet. And that's what we're looking forward to. It's that new phase. The other element that I want to talk about is the amazing technologies that are there. And of course, one of my favorites is the Ingenuity helicopter, this in search of this extraterrestrial Wright brothers moment, controlled flight for the first time elsewhere, Raquel.
Great. And we have a student question on video for you from Macy.
Hi, my name is Macy Ragsdale. My question is anything alive on Mars? Thank you.
Well, Macy, I'm so glad for your question. That's a question I ask myself. Is anything alive there? And frankly, at the surface where we're going right now with Perseverance, we do not believe there's anything alive right there because of the radiation that's there. It's chilling cold and there's really no water there. But guess what? We think that 3 billion years ago, this looked like a stream that you may see on Earth. And frankly, a lot more similar than Earth, with water with a magnetic field, just like the Earth with an atmosphere. And the question is, at that time, 3 billion years ago, were there single-cell organisms, just of the type that developed on Earth. So is there life on Mars overall? We don't know, but where we're going right now, we're really looking for ancient life, and that's what we're so excited about.
Thank you for your time today, Thomas. And thanks to everyone who has been using the hashtag Countdown to Mars. Here are some of the photos that you've sent in so far. Let's take a look.
And just
Now,
hashtag
please
perseverance.
keep sharing with us how you are watching this moment today. For now, let's go back to Swati for an important update to
Okay.
what's going on in mission control as we get closer to another milestone.
Hi, Raquel. This next milestone is a communications poll. So during landing, not only will Perseverance talk directly to Earth, but we'll also be talking to 2 spacecraft that are currently orbiting Mars, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter and the MAVEN spacecraft. This poll is to confirm with the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter spacecraft and the MAVEN spacecraft teams that they are ready and on track to support the relay from Perseverance. Let's listen in.
Very busy, these people, I think. Flight director, uplink lead, systems.
EDL-COM flight. Go flight. Have you performed the comm check and readiness of the orbiters?
We have performed the voice check and the readiness poll and can confirm that MRO, MAVEN, EDA, Radio Science 1 and 2, UHF, DTE, DSN, and EDL GDS are all ready to support.
Copy, EDL-COM.
So we've just heard that we have confirmation from each of the different orbiters and all of their support equipment on the ground that they are ready and are on track to support the relay from Perseverance.
Great, thank you, Swati. And we just heard that communications readiness poll, which means we are ready to relay the data Perseverance will send to get a better idea of what the rover looks like as it approaches Mars. We have a NASA program called EYES. The visualization lets anyone watching track Perseverance. Here's how the program works.
Follow Perseverance on its journey to the surface of the red planet with eyes on the solar system. From your desktop or mobile device, go to eyes.nasa.gov. Click on the banner, and now you're with Perseverance in real time through every step of EDL, entry, descent, and landing. This interactive experience lets you ride along from whatever perspective you choose. Click and drag, scroll in, scroll out. Check out the descriptions and explanations to increase your EDL expertise. Experience every entry, descent, and landing event precisely designed and executed to land Perseverance safely on Mars. The EYES experience is based on predictive data, but during this broadcast you'll see a different visualization called Ranger, and it's based on the real communication the team in Mission Control receives from Perseverance in near real time. This is the visualization the team will follow as data fills their screens while monitoring the health of Perseverance on its nerve-wracking course to another successful Mars landing. Enjoy the ride.
Interesting stuff. It takes 11 minutes and 20 seconds for a signal from Mars to return back to Earth. Yeah, that's actually quite a lot.
You are watching live Mars landing commentary. Stepping outside Mission Control to talk to us is Perseverance system engineer, Matt Smith. Thanks for joining us today, Matt.
Hey, Raquel.
Well, coming from Mission Control, we are going to hear terms related to landing. Can you help us understand what some of them mean?
Sure, definitely. One thing you'll hear a lot about is telemetry. So telemetry is just our way of talking about data that's coming from the spacecraft and telling us important things like temperatures on the vehicle, pressure, how much fuel we have left, and other things that we need to understand for the health and safety of the vehicle. You'll also hear the word nominal, hopefully. Nominal means everything is expected, everything is okay, we're good to go. You'll hear also a lot about velocity and deceleration. So velocity is just our speed combined with the direction we're going. And deceleration is our slowing velocity. So we're coming in at over 12,000 miles per hour, and we're going to slow down to a nice, comfortable 2 miles per hour at landing, and that's our deceleration. Speaking of landing, you may hear a couple important terms at landing itself. One is RIMU stable. So the RIMU is a device on the rover that measures the rover's orientation and whether it's moving. So we want a nice, stable landing spot without any motion. You'll also hear UHF stable, hopefully. UHF stable refers to good telecommunications link with the rover and indicates that we've had a good separation between the descent stage and the rover after the sky crane maneuver. Finally, you may also hear Tango Delta nominal, or touchdown nominal. That means we've touched down on the surface of Mars within the expected range of safe landing speeds.
Thanks for that breakdown. Now, this is your first Mars mission.
Kind of fast.
What have you learned from
12,000 miles per hour.
One of my takeaways is that you can
roughly 19,300 kilometers per hour, I think.
Take Mars for granted. You know, we've checked and double-checked and triple-checked everything on our way to Mars, and you know, even though we've done this once before using the sky crane technique on the Curiosity rover, you know, I think everyone's going to have everyone's going to hold their breath until we're on the surface of Mars this time around.
And we have a social media question coming in. Nor the Door on Instagram asks, how complicated is the automated landing sequence, and who wrote the code?
Yeah, it's quite complicated. The automated landing software needs to do literally hundreds of things, all on its own, just right with sub-second timing accuracy. And it's the result of many hundreds of people over many years, stretching all the way back to Curiosity, and then improved for the Perseverance landing today at Jezero Crater.
Great. Thanks for your time today, Matt, and good luck.
Thanks.
Now, landing on Mars is hard. Landing on Mars during a pandemic is even harder. The team behind the Perseverance rover faced one of its biggest challenges when the coronavirus pandemic struck. Here's how they kept the mission going.
Safety at work.
When the pandemic struck, the future was certainly unknown. It was like walking into a blind, dark alley. You didn't know what was there, what was in front of you, what you were going to have to deal with.
It's something that nobody expected. It's something that nobody could plan for.
So we all were asked to start working from home.
Rather than your first priority being mission success and getting to the launch pad, your first priority immediately gets displaced, and it's now the safety of the people.
And it took a lot of work to put stuff together in order to keep momentum going, to keep people working safely, keep them healthy, and to keep the project on schedule.
We called the effort Mars 2020 Safe at Work, and the objective was to keep the team as safe or safer than they would be if they were not working. You know, putting a
What on earth? That's the wrong button. I'll just refresh. I'm not sure what's going on.
Putting a spacecraft together that's going to Mars and not making a mistake, it's hard no matter what. Trying to do it during the middle of a pandemic, it's a lot harder.
And liftoff. As the countdown to Mars continues, the perseverance of humanity launching the next generation of robotic explorers to the red planet.
What might be interesting for some people,
Certainly, never done something like this before.
there's a very cool link that shows
while getting ready for landing, while doing it all from home.
It visualizes the distances of space relatively well. You could look into this if you want.
But in
oh, that's chat.
physical isolation from everyone else is a challenge.
We had to rethink and redesign what it meant to operate a spacecraft.
I'm curious why they only
flight
stream it in
when we
720p.
couldn't all be in the same room in mission control, seeing the data come down from Perseverance.
It was a major change going to that, you know, looking at everyone on a screen instead of in person.
Because of the pandemic, you can't, you know, just pop over your cubicle wall and talk to the person next to you.
It's definitely been a challenge to figure out how to communicate and get everything done remotely, but we've managed to make it work.
We are explorers. Our job is to go into the unknown, and this is just another example of the unknown.
We're really doing something that's transformative and trying to understand whether or not life evolved on another planet. That's the fundamental objective of this mission.
We're all still connected by this incredible mission and this wonderful team that we have the opportunity to be a part of. So that keeps at least me going.
Pretty much everybody that I've talked to that's associated with the mission has said the same thing, which is you could not have come up with a better name than Perseverance.
It's an amazing serendipity that we get to persevere through working on Perseverance.
And that's about 40 minutes longer than a day on Earth. Interesting. I actually expected it to be shorter, but...
Joining us now is Perseverance Deputy Project Manager Matt Wallace. Matt, just how ambitious is this mission, and how does this team stay on
What is
track
going on?
with unexpected challenges
Oh, we have to
like
lower it?
like the pandemic?
Well, it's a very ambitious mission. You know, we're carrying not only a host of new, extremely capable science instruments to do that science mission that we've talked about, but also a number of technology experiments to provide feed-forward information into the next set of robotic explorers or even human exploration of Mars. So there's a lot for us to do. We look a lot like Curiosity, but in fact we're carrying 50% more payload down to the surface of Mars, and so it's been a big challenge. You know, and it was particularly
Doesn't seem to make a difference.
challenging when the pandemic struck. It came at a critical time in our processing. We were just months away from launching. We're trying to essentially
Can maybe switch to
get
Twitch?
it launched and fly to Mars. You know, thanks to a lot
It's
of help.
stuttering on both.
And Matt, just how large is the team that worked on Perseverance?
It's a big team. A
The
couple
quality
thousand
seems better.
people here just at JPL, in fact, have worked on the mission. And then almost every other NASA center has contributed in some significant and critical way as well. We have over 1,000 industry partners that have provided hardware into this mission from 44 different states, 60 different cities, and of course we have international contributions from Europe and many other international providers as well. So it's a big team. It's taken a lot of people to get us to where we're at.
That is a big team. This is the most difficult landing site ever attempted. Now, why do you think Perseverance is ready to land in Jezero Crater now?
Jezero is tough. I mean, it's scientifically fascinating because it's got a lot of things like craters and you know, rock fields and cliffs and sand dunes and that sort of thing, which are great for the science community. That's exactly the type of features.
I'm the only one who
we're
getting
looking for to learn
stutters,
more
or
about
is
Mars.
this a
But
stream
they're all
problem,
in
or
the
is it
efforts for us.
a Chris has
And
bad
so
internet connection problem?
We've had to add new technology to remote navigation, which is the ability essentially to divert away from hazards. But we have taken this system through the same types of paces that we have in previous missions. We've used the same techniques, the same best practices for engineering verification, and in many cases we've used the same people. This, in fact, is my fifth Mars rover mission, and I'm not alone. There's other people on the project in the same situation. So
You have the
you know, team has given
the
everything
clean
they've
feed,
got,
the
to
NASA stream
put it
too,
all- put
Andres.
it all out there and to make this successful, and I think we're ready.
Thanks,
Because I
Matt,
would
and
also
good
just
luck on your
use
fifth
streaming
mission.
it.
Thank you very much.
Well, Jezero Crater is a
But it
location
got better,
on
I
Mars
think.
that has intrigued scientists for years. Let's head over to Marina to learn more about the science goals of the mission.
That's right, Raquel. Here to explain why we want to go there is Deputy Project Scientist Katie Stack Morgan. Welcome, Katie.
Thanks, Marina. Glad to be here.
Now, Perseverance is landing on Mars at the Jezero Crater. Why is it that you and the team chose this particular area?
Yeah, so scientists believe Jezero Crater is one of the best places on Mars and possibly the entire solar system to look for signs of ancient life. Jezero contained an ancient lake and has within it one of the best
I didn't
preserved
understand what you
ancient
asked.
delta deposits on the surface of Mars.
Of course, it
And deltas
stutters in
form
your
when a
stream because I have
river
stutter
enters
here
an
too.
open body
But
of
if
water,
you would
like an
open
impact
the,
crater,
if
and
I would open
deposits
the
the sediment that
actual
it's
NASA
carrying into
stream
the lake. And we
on
know
Twitch
based
TV
on studies
slash
of
NASA
deltas and
or
lakes here on Earth that
the
they're
YouTube
great
NASA
places to
thing,
concentrate
can be
and
found
host
here.
volcanics and support microbial
Do you
life.
have the
We're also
status too, or is
studying
it just
if
unique
Jezero
to me? So it's a
exposes
problem on
rocks
my end.
that are between 3.5 to more than 4 billion years old and represent a variety of different geological processes.
Now, this might be a tough choice, but what do you think would be the most rewarding scientific discovery that we expect to get from this mission?
As hands down, I think the most rewarding discovery I think we can make with Perseverance would be finding a truly compelling ancient biosignature on Mars. The rocks in and around Jezero Crater record a period of time when life first arose in the solar system, and we have the opportunity with Perseverance to study the evolution of the planet from a once habitable world likely capable of supporting ancient life to the cold, barren planet we know Mars is today.
And why do you think, Katie, it's so important to find out if there really is or was ancient life on Mars?
Yeah,
The
the status
question
are
of
gone
whether
now.
there's life beyond Earth is one of the most fundamental and essential questions we can ask. And our ability to ask this question and develop the scientific
Got better here
investigations and
too.
technology to
I know.
answer it is one of the things that make us as a species so unique. And based on everything we know about Mars in the past, it absolutely should have been capable of supporting ancient life. So we can find out an answer to the question, where there were habitable environments, was there life? And studying the possible emergence of life on ancient Mars can also help us better understand the conditions that led to life on our own planet.
That's so fascinating, Katie. Now we're going to take a question from a student, Vara.
Hi, I'm Vara, and my question is, why was Mars able to sustain lakes and rivers ages ago, but cannot now? Isn't it cold enough to make water, and isn't it always? Thank you.
Yeah, that is such a great question. And one of the things that protects our atmosphere here on Earth and allows liquid water to be stable on our own planet is the fact that we have a magnetic field protecting that atmosphere. We think that Mars lost its magnetic field way back billions of years ago and left the atmosphere exposed to things like solar winds and cosmic rays that basically blew that atmosphere away. And once that happened, liquid water wasn't stable on the surface of Mars anymore. It was too cold and the pressure was too low. And so now Mars is not capable of supporting liquid water and likely not capable of supporting life at its surface.
Well, thank you so much to Vara for that great question. And a big shout out to all the kids that are watching out there today. And thank you so much to you, Katie, for joining us. That was so great.
Thank you.
Now sending it back over to you, Raquel.
Thanks, Marina. Earlier, we were able to catch up with the communications systems engineer, Chloe Sakier. She helps us break down the system used to track Perseverance during landing.
The communications infrastructure supporting Perseverance's landing is quite complex. We've rallied a truly global network of relay and communications assets.
There was a Hohmann
to help us
transfer.
capture and record those precious minutes of entry.
Was it a
descent,
Hohmann
and
transfer or was it
landing,
ballistic?
or EDL. We receive a stream of engineering telemetry
I think it was a
via these
ballistic one,
communication
right?
assets
Not
that
sure.
helps us see and understand exactly what's happening. Perseverance sends direct-to-Earth X-band tones, each of which provides us with indications of critical entry, descent, and landing events. During entry, descent, and landing, we have two Mars orbiters listening for the ultra-high frequency, or UHF, signals from Perseverance. These orbiters relay these signals to deep space network stations on Earth, Madrid in Spain, and Goldstone in California. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, or MRO, has reconfigured its software to perform a type of relay called bent pipe. This will provide us with near real-time telemetry during entry, descent, and landing. We have coverage from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter from just before entry to a few minutes after landing.
Status are from me.
The
That's
telemetry
not
we
good.
receive will be delayed by the time it takes light to travel from Mars to us back on Earth. Additionally, the Mars Atmosphere and Volatile Evolution spacecraft, or MAVEN, is recording these UHF signals and will be relaying that recording hours after landing. MAVEN will be covering us from around the time of cruise stage separation until a few minutes after landing. We also receive what we call heartbeat tones, which are indications that the spacecraft is alive and progressing throughout entry, descent, and landing. It's important to note that while unexpected, we could lose our communication links and still land safely. Because Perseverance is doing entry, descent, and landing completely autonomously, she doesn't need our help to joystick the landing. The communication links give us added visibility.
And you can see Chloe hard at work inside Mission Control right now. Perseverance's landing might look like the system the Curiosity rover used back in 2012. But landing on Mars is difficult. There's always a risk involved. Here's what needs to happen for Perseverance to touch down safely in Jezero Crater.
But you're better now.
Take it for granted when you get to Mars. There's a lot of things we just don't know.
Space always has a way of throwing us curveballs and surprising us.
I mean, until we get the data that says we're on the ground safely, I'm going to be worried that we're not going to make it.
Entry, descent, and landing is often referred to as the 7 minutes of terror because it takes about 7 minutes to get from the top of the atmosphere of Mars to the ground safely.
The spacecraft has to do all of this by itself.
There are many things that have to go right to get Perseverance onto the ground safely.
There's a lot counting on this. This is the first leg of our sample return relay race.
Welcome.
There's a lot of work on the line.
Starting about 10 minutes before atmospheric entry, we get rid of.
There might be some
the
stutters sometimes. I don't know what the cause of it is.
We
Just for
come
people
screaming in
wondering.
to the
So
Martian
far it's working.
atmosphere at 12 to 13,000 miles per hour.
And the heat shield is what dissipates all that initial energy through friction.
The vehicle
I was watching the another stream. Yeah, we too.
It's sort of like
Feel free to
transforming
join
the
us
vehicle
here.
that went from spacecraft, and now it's kind of like an aircraft actively guiding itself.
When we're going slow enough, we deploy a parachute.
No, we already watched that in the
Supersonic parachute you've
EP, I
ever
think.
sent to another planet. It's critical for slowing down the vehicle.
It's relatively energy efficient to use a
Entry, descent, and
parachute.
landing borrows heavily from that of Curiosity.
But fundamentally, Perseverance is a different rover. She's bigger, she has different instruments.
We've added a lot of smarts on the inside to make it more capable so that it can deal with the landing site that we've given.
The science team identified Jezero Crater as basically an ancient lake bed and one of the most promising places to look for evidence of ancient microbial life and to collect samples for future return to Earth. The problem is it's a much more hazardous place to land.
When you look at Jezero, all you see is danger. How do we go to a site that we never thought was safe enough to go to before? So the heat shield, which has protected us all the way through entry, is no longer necessary. We need to get that off so that we can actually see the ground. And we can see the ground in a couple different ways.
Perseverance will be the first mission to use terrain relative navigation. So while it's descending on the parachute, it will actually be taking images of the surface of Mars and determining where to go based on what it sees. This is finally like landing with your eyes open. Having this new
It's really
technology
impressive technology
really
that it
allows
scans the
Perseverance
ground,
to
finds the
land in
points,
much
considers them
challenging
safe,
terrain
and
than
makes a
Curiosity
decision where to
or
land.
Any previous Mars mission could.
Full
Amongst
automatically.
The rocks and the craters.
Yeah,
and
fully
the cliffs,
automatically.
These things are hazardous to the
Autonomously,
rover,
or whatever you
but
call
these are the things that are interesting to the scientists.
Once Perseverance has figured out where she is, jettison the back shell and parachute, and light up our rockets. Those rockets help us steer to a safe landing spot that's nearby.
So that's why they
That
need
descent
the
stage takes us
rockets
all the way down to about
to
20
determine where they
meters
want to
off the
land.
ground.
That's when we start the
Did not
sky.
consider that. Then lets it down and it flies away.
Once the rover has hit the ground, the descent stage will cut loose from the rover and fly away to a safe distance. Surviving that 7 minutes is really just the beginning for Perseverance. Its job, right, being the first leg of sample return, to go look for those signs of past life on Mars. All that can't start until we get Perseverance safely to the ground. And then that's when the real mission begins.
Really impressive technology though. Well, the Mars mission spacecraft is carrying the most cameras ever to deep space. 23 are part of the Mars 2020 mission, which includes the President Rover. 2 are on the Ingenuity Mars helicopter. Ingenuity is a
With
cool
us
word,
now
I think.
is Al Chen. He is Perseverance's entry, descent, and landing lead. Al, you were part of the Curiosity rover landing. Does it get any easier the second time around?
It absolutely does not, especially when considering we're trying to land the biggest, heaviest, and most complex rover we've ever built at the most dangerous landing site we've ever attempted. Jezero may look great and promising from a science perspective, but it's absolutely treacherous for landing. There's a cliff wall that's about 200 feet tall that runs right through the middle of the landing site. There are craters full of sand that even if we landed in them, we would not be able to drive out of. And there are rocks to the east and actually all over the place, rock fields. That would be a bad day for us if we were to land on them.
Now, Al, what new technology makes this type of dangerous landing possible?
Perseverance is carrying two new technologies that are really kind of under the hood smarts that are allowing us to land at this treacherous landing site. The first is range trigger. That's the ability, we've given Perseverance the ability to decide for herself, based on where she is, when to deploy the parachute. Previously, we used to deploy parachutes, that supersonic parachute, based just on navigated velocity. But now Perseverance has the smarts to figure out where she is and deploy that parachute at just the right place to make sure that we shrink where we could come down. That actually reduces the area, that error ellipse, where we can come down on the ground, from something that was on the order of 15 miles long by 12 miles wide for Curiosity to about 5 miles long by 4 miles wide for Perseverance. So that's quite a bit of reduction. Second, the next piece of technology that's helping us land there is terrain relative navigation. In the past, after we've popped off the heat shield, we've taken pictures of the ground as it's been coming up, but we haven't really done anything with them. This time, Perseverance is carrying a camera to take pictures, but also a kind of second brain to help it figure out what those pictures are telling it and match it up with an onboard map from a satellite. That allows it to figure out exactly where she is. Suddenly then, she can then fly to safe spots that are nearby once she really knows where she is. It allows the site to not have to be as flat and boring as a pancake as some of our past sites have been, the entire area we could come down. Now we just need little pieces of that site to be small enough and safe enough for us to land in safely and fly there after we've gotten rid of the parachute.
And we also have a social media question coming in. Sansakari14 on Instagram is asking, how does the Sky Crane decide where to move itself after the payload lands?
After the payload lands, after the rover touches down, the Sky Crane, the descent stage, which is that rocket-powered jetpack above it, the first job, of course, is to make sure you don't hurt the rover. So it'll turn forward or backward so that the engine plumes don't pass over the rover. So it'll come up and start to turn. And it'll go in whichever direction is closest to north. So it can either go forward, if that's the way north is, or go toward the rear of the rover, if that's where north is. And it'll fly about 1/3 of a mile or so away.
Thanks for talking to us today, Al.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's head back to Mission Control for an update from Swati.
No.
Hi, Raquel.
Let's see what's going there.
So, remember that command that we sent at around 11:35 to turn the transmitter off? We are just about to get confirmation that Perseverance has received the command. The command took 11 minutes to go to Perseverance, and then the reply took 11 minutes to get back from Perseverance to the ground. So we should hear any second now that we have officially turned off the transmitter. And after that, we will be about 4 minutes from the start of entry, descent, and landing mode. At this point, we will transition from the cruise approach mode to entry, descent, and landing. And that means our travel from Earth to Mars is done, and now we just need to get to the surface. So far, things are looking good.
Great.
Yeah, I agree. It's really impressive what people can do. It's really a big achievement doing stuff like this. I'm curious. We could look into a thing I prepared just to give people an idea about distances. So this is like an interesting map that shows, that represents our solar system. If one pixel of this, a single pixel, so if we zoom, can we zoom in? Not sure if we can. Probably not. It probably breaks the application. Is the size of the moon. And then here, basically, let me see. Here's the sun. That's the size of the sun. If one pixel would be the moon, and then you can start scrolling and scrolling. I probably can do it faster. I do it a bit faster. And you see, we still haven't reached our first planet by now. Kind of weird, isn't it? Well, it's still not reached it. And here it is. Here's Mercury. That's the first one. And you see just how this is going. It's kind of ridiculous. Is there...
Rover mission has helped shape the other started with the landing of the Pathfinder more
Because I
than
want
20
to.
years
It's really
ago.
impressive. So now let's
Leading up
try
to
to
where we are
find.
today with
I need to do this faster. Oh, that
Perseverance
was
Deputy
Venus.
Project Manager
Let's go to
Jennifer
Earth really
Strasberg
fast.
has worked on every Mars rover mission.
That's
and
Earth.
she
That is Moon.
joins us
Moon is relatively
now.
far away, as you can see.
Jennifer,
That's
how
1
does
pixel, by the way.
Perseverance fit
And now
into
we
the
see the
history
distance
of
from Earth
exploring
to
Mars?
Mars, how far away it is.
Thanks, Raquel. It's great to be here. Well, Perseverance is NASA's 5th rover on Mars, and
Well,
I've had the privilege of working
I think you
on
get the
every
point,
one of
right?
them. And the very first rover was the
It's
Solar
really
rover
far
we
away.
sent in
It's you have no idea how
1997,
far
and
away
it
it
was
is.
the size of a
Like it's
microwave
really far away. And here it is.
And
There's
even
Mars.
in
That's the
that
distance
small
they have to
size,
cover with this
Sojourner was able
to get to this little
transform
small
the
pixel
way
here.
that
It's
we
also
explore Mars
much
from
smaller than Earth.
stationary landers to
It's really impressive. And
small
what you know what the
roving
most
robots that go
impressive
from
thing
place
is?
to place, just like a
Let me see if I can get to
geologist
Earth
would
really
on Earth.
quick.
So once
We can
had
watch
that
light
roving
speed.
capability, then we sent our twin
And we'll
rovers
start
Spirit
laughing
and
if you see light, the
Opportunity.
speed
Spirit
of
and
light. Usually
Opportunity were
it's considered
tasked
quite
with
fast.
finding
If I click on
evidence
this,
of
we go
ancient
to
water
light
on
speed.
Mars. Now they did. They're great
So
explorers,
this is
and both
the speed
them
of light.
found ample evidence
So
that
just to give you an
water once
idea how far
existed
away that
on the
is.
surface of Mars.
It's
But we had a
simply
question.
ridiculous.
Another question then was,
That is the
Mars
speed of
ever
light.
habitable?
Yeah, it takes
Well,
11
I've been
minutes
there,
from
and
there
that's
to go
when
to
we
Mars.
sent
If we go back to the
Curiosity.
beginning of
Curiosity
everything,
was a major upgrade to our
see
rover fleet.
the
She's
speed
size
of
a small
light.
car. She landed with the sky crane system instead of
Just
air
imagine we
bags.
had to go there.
And she
It would
also
take to
carries
us
along
8
her own
minutes.
sample
You have to watch
analytics
this.
lab,
Then we would
and
be
she's
at Earth,
still
and then
operating today.
another
And
11
during
minutes
her
to get to Mars.
exploration, she
Just
has
to give you an
found
idea
evidence
how
of
far
a
things.
habitable
And if you think
environment in
Mars
a
is far
bed
away,
on
you have
Mars.
no idea
So
how
now we're
far
sending Perseverance.
how
Perseverance
far
is tasked
the next planets
with
are. Like
answering
here,
the question
where's
and
Mars?
looking
Come on,
for
Mars.
evidence
Don't let me
of
down.
ancient
Mars, that's
microbial
Mars.
life on
So
Mars. And in order to do this, she has to be the smartest
it's really
and most
impressive how
capable
far
rover we've ever sent.
Jupiter is away.
Speaking of
Like Jupiter is
Perseverance, can you tell
very,
us
very
more
far away
about
from
how
Mars.
Perseverance is smarter than its predecessors?
Yes, we've made a lot of upgrades
It's really
to
far
help
away.
her along
You
with
see
her
how far
surface
away
mission.
Mars is, and
One
we're
of
going
them
faster
is
than
for her
before.
autonomous traverse capability.
We
When
are
I say
much faster
autonomous
than the speed of
traverse, I
light
mean we tell
scrolling
her
right now.
where we want her to end up, and she has to figure out the safe and best way to get there.
And we
In
still
order to
haven't
do
reached
that, she uses
Jupiter,
her
just to see
cameras,
how far Jupiter
algorithms,
is away.
computers. So we've given
Go on,
her
Jupiter,
another
where are you?
computer, we've
I
upgraded
think
the
it's coming
cameras,
up
and
now
we've upgraded the
round
algorithms.
about
Now
26,
she drives
7,
3
8,
times as
30.
fast
I'm not
as
sure, but it
Curiosity
should
could drive in this
come
autonomous
anytime
traverse
soon.
mode.
Maybe it's at
In
40 and I
fact,
forgot
her
that it's that far away,
average
but
daily distance for driving, about 200 meters, is close to the maximum distance
okay,
any rover
maybe
has ever
even
driven
myself,
in a
I'm
day
now
on Mars, so
surprised how
she's
far
fast.
Jupiter is away, I have to
Another
admit.
thing that we've done, which is the most significant upgrade that
Maybe it
we've
should
made,
speed up a
is
bit.
the sample caching system itself. Curiosity has a robotic arm.
Still
like
haven't reached
Perseverance
Jupiter.
has a
Is
robotic
it at
arm, but on the end
42?
of
I thought it was
Perseverance's
32. Maybe it's at
robotic
42.
arm is a coring
Numbers
ferrule that
in
will
my
go
mind
and
are always
take
a bad
raw
thing.
cores, transfer them into
memorize
sample
those.
tubes and into the rover, where another robotic arm will take those tubes, will seal them, and store them.
There it
and
is,
eventually
43,
drop
almost.
them on the surface
So that
of
is
Mars for
Jupiter.
future return to
That's the
Earth.
distance between Mars and Jupiter. If you want to go to Jupiter, maybe at Ganymede, which is all Europe, or Callisto, one of the bigger moons, Io, of Jupiter. It's
Great question.
really
You
far
may
away.
think we make them out of some material you've never heard of. It turns out they're made of
Yeah, and the
aluminum.
next planet,
Now,
Saturn, is
Perseverance's
also really
wheels are a
far
little
away.
thicker than Curiosity's, but they're actually
It's kind
both
of
made out of
sick.
aluminum.
I have to go really fast probably to
One
hit
more
it.
question for you. Can you tell us more about the importance of where you are right now in the building?
Yes, I am above, on the second floor, above the cruise mission
There it
support
was.
area that you've been watching.
A bit too
and
far.
This is the
Where is
surface
it?
mission support area. So as soon
That is
as
Saturn.
Perseverance
And you see how
lands,
these gas giants
all
are really
commands,
far
I'll
away.
take out this
Like,
room will take over. It will become
insanely far
headquarters
away. Okay. I'm not sure how far Uranus is the next planet, I think. How far, where it is. Probably at around 100 or so.
Know Perseverance's place in history. Let's take an up-close look at the rover with Mars 2020 system testbed engineer Elio Morillo.
Thank you.
Probably further than this. It's go really fast.
In front of the Mars 2020 Perseverance scaled model. As you can tell, this
It might be interesting though in the background.
about the size
Now we can
of
see
an
how
Mini
big
Cooper.
the other
These
thing
wheels
is.
are
Maybe we should
obviously
also watch the
black
stream a
here,
bit.
and they look like rubber, but they're
But
actually
you get the
made of
point,
metal.
how big
These
our
wheels are
solar
designed
system is.
to
Our
allow
solar
us to
system
climb
is a
over
tiny
obstacles
point
and,
in
of
the
course,
universe.
climb over
It's
hills and minimize
it's really
the amount
tiny.
of slipping once we're traversing on the surface of Mars.
It's actually
Here
bigger
in
than I
front of the
expected it to
rover, we
be.
have the sample caching system. And of course, at the very front end of this is the robotic arm, which this entire system is arguably the most complex robotic system we've ever sent outside of Earth. Here at the tip of the arm, we have a turret which contains a suite of instruments along with some drills and coring capabilities that will allow us to do contact science once we get to the surface of Mars. Not only that, this robotic system is equipped to collect samples about the size of a piece of chalk that then eventually will be stored inside of the vehicle and dropped off in a later location so that an eventual mission can go and return these samples to Earth, something we've never done in the past. Here in the front, we have the remote sensing mast. Something of note is that this mechanism is going to be stowed upon the touchdown on the surface of Mars. And one of the first critical activities we do is deploy this mechanism. This mechanism includes several cameras that are going to give us some of the most breathtaking images we've ever taken on Mars. Along with that, we have some lasers as well as a spectrometer. They're going to allow us to do some remote science. Here you see some of these extrusions that are part of the larger weather suite of instruments that will allow us to characterize the local climate around Perseverance. So that's a quick tour of the rover, but I gotta get back to work. So back to you.
Really nice. Let's find Uranus real quick. Uranus, where are you? Come on, come on, come on. Don't let me... Wait, still have not a Neptune, by the way. Maybe I scrolled over it? I don't think so. How far away is this?
Perseverance is collecting samples of
Uranus.
Martian rock for future return to Earth. We've heard that scientists have been wanting to bring Martian samples back for many generations. And here to talk a little bit about that is NASA's Planetary Science Division Director, Lori Glaze, who joins us now to talk
it's
about
really
the
big.
role Perseverance
There it
will
is.
play
That's
in
Uranus.
NASA's future goals.
Oof.
Welcome, Lori.
Let's go really fast.
Now, as you just
Super
heard,
light
we've heard
speed.
that
Let's
scientists
warp.
have been
Let's
wanting
warp
to bring
6 or
back
something.
these
That was
Martian
Uranus,
samples
Neptune.
for a very long time. Why do we need to bring them back?
And then the last one,
Really a great
Pluto.
question. You know, we actually have examples
It's-
of Mars already here on
And
Earth.
just
that
think
came
about
here
how
as
far
meteorites.
out we are.
But we don't know exactly
It's
where they came
just
from
ridiculous.
on Mars, and then they also have had to make the trip from Mars to Earth, and so they got altered.
Pluto's also
during that
relatively
time, and then
small.
during their entry and descent into the Earth's atmosphere. That also changes what those
We are too
rocks
far.
are like.
Here
So
it is.
being
With
able
Pluto.
to go
It takes
to
9 years
Mars
from
and
Earth to get here with one of the
collect a
fastest
sample where we
built
know
vessels
exactly
ever
where it came from,
done.
and we know we can
It's really
preserve
impressive.
it
So
and
now we
keep
can
it
switch back
pristine and carry it all the way
and
back here.
want
This
to
will
stream
be
again. But
incredibly
it's just I
important to
wanted
help us
people
answer
to show how
questions about,
how big the
geologic history
dimensions
of
are
Mars,
of
understanding
space
how it
travel.
formed and evolved, and
Oh, by the
also
way, if
really
we
important
took that
questions
vessel
about
that takes
whether or
9
not
years to
life
Pluto
actually
and bring it
existed
to the
on Mars
next
3.5 billion
to our
years
neighbor
ago,
star
and
that's
without
4
life,
light
if
years
it
away,
existed, has
Alpha
been
Centauri,
preserved
it would
in the
take
surface of
around
Mars.
50 to 60,000 years
Lori,
to
the
get there.
sample
Just to give you an
tubes
idea
that Perseverance is going to
how
be
much space
collecting,
between
they're the
our
cleanest
sun and the
thing
next
we've ever
star is.
created on Earth.
It's
Tell me a little bit about that.
insanely
Oh my goodness.
big.
We worked
There's an
so
unimaginable
hard.
amount
The
of
team here at
space in between.
JPL is absolutely incredible to assure that
And that are
those
just
sample
4 light
tubes
years.
are incredibly clean. One of the main goals of this mission is to be able to detect if there's actual life that's preserved.
That's why we need
ancient
at least
life
to get like, I don't know,
preserved in those rocks, in
50%
those
light
samples.
speed or
And
so.
we definitely
So
don't
we
want
would
to be
get there in
carrying,
8 years
you know,
or
our
something.
own DNA off to Mars and then bring it back here
Fun
to
fact,
confuse
if you
our scientists when they're trying
if you
to
go
study
to light
these
speed or
samples.
would have the
So it
ability
is an incredibly clean,
and would transport
set of,
humans, you can't just
equipment that's been
accelerate
sent
to
there.
light
As you
speed. You
said,
have
the
to do it
cleanest
very,
thing
very
we've ever
slowly.
sent into
So
space.
you have to accelerate
Now,
for
this
like
is a very
I
complicated
think over a
campaign.
year,
Can you break
and
down
then you
for
have
us
to
how
brake
it's
over a
going to
year
work, and if there's any
just to get to the
international
speed
partners
and
working with us?
kill the
Correct.
velocity
The
again.
Mars sample return
Kind of
campaign
insane.
is incredibly complex. In fact, it's probably the most challenging thing we've ever tried to do. But we're definitely
But let's
not gonna
focus
try
on
and
Mars
do it
for now,
alone.
which, as you can
We
see, is
have
compared to the
great
other planets
partners
relatively
with
close.
The European Space Agency. And the way this campaign is going to
Yeah,
work,
exactly, the
Perseverance
braking
is the
is the
first
same.
step. Chapter 1 is going to Mars and collecting the samples. Chapter 2 is going to be a sample return lander that we hope to launch in around 2026 to 2028. And that lander, it'll be an American lander carrying a fetch rover that's provided by European Space Agency. And that little fetch rover will drive out and pick up the samples that Perseverance left on the surface of Mars. And the Fetch Rover will bring them back and load them into a rocket that we call the Mars Ascent Vehicle, which will be the first ever launch from another planet. And it will launch those samples into orbit around Mars. In the meantime, European Space Agency will have an orbiter that's in orbit around Mars that can rendezvous and capture those samples and then bring them back to Earth for us to study back here in our amazing laboratories.
A lot of firsts, it sounds like, Lori. And another first, how is Perseverance and the Mars Sample Return mission going to help the future exploration, human exploration of Mars?
I'm so glad you asked that. I think we're going to get a lot of great information from Mars Sample Return with, again, being able to land the heaviest payload we've ever landed on Mars will be that Sample Return lander. That's critical to us learning how to land humans on Mars. And then we are definitely going to want to be able to launch the humans back off of Mars. So that Mars Ascent Vehicle is going to be critical, that first step of the first launch from another planet.
So exciting, Lori. And speaking about the Mars generation, we're now going to take a student question for you from Livia.
Hi, my name is Livia, and my question is, what made you want to study Mars, and why are you working so hard and willing to wait so long for a sample? Thank you.
Oh, Olivia, that is such a great question. And I enjoy Mars just because it can tell us so much about how our solar system formed and evolved. All of the planets can tell us different parts of that story, and Mars is a really key piece of that. And one of the main reasons we're willing to wait so long to get the sample back is that we've got great new scientists that are all about your age, and in about 10 or 15 or 20 years, you'll be the generation that's going to actually get to work with these samples. When they come back, you'll be the scientists and engineers that will be the next generation to change how we think about Mars and how we think about life in the solar system.
That was a great question, Lori. Reach for the stars, future little scientists and engineers. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Lori.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
Back to you, Raquel, for another mission update.
Thanks, Marina. The cruise team for Perseverance controls the rover on its way to Mars. And moments ago, they handed it over to the landing team, and it looks like team leaders in mission control are about to talk to both teams. So let's listen in.
The CBM change, as I mentioned previously, is to the EDL reserve two-way non-coherent route.
Activity.
Copy flight.
EDL phase, go ahead.
I'd like to see pep talk, I guess, to the team. All right. I'm terrible at pep talks. I think my reputation precedes me there. And look, I know this hasn't been easy, right? I'm not even sure we've even been all in the same room at the same time. I mean, I'm staring at folks across the internet as well. Even now, right? Yeah. Voice check. Okay. I do want to just extend my heartfelt appreciation from the EDL team to the launch cruise team. You've done everything we've asked for, right? I mean, you've battled anomalies, you've dealt with Cephis, you've done everything. You delivered a healthy spacecraft to the place that we want to go, and she's right on target, right? You did the last maneuver literally 2 months ago, right? This is pretty incredible, in my opinion. And she's armed with the right information to help us land. Doing the parameter update last night, we're ready to roll. You've done everything right. And you've put up with us too, right? You've put up with our eccentricities and the things we like to do in EDL land. So I very much appreciate that. So you all should sleep in on Friday, since you guys have earned it.
Exactly.
Thanks for literally and figuratively putting us in the right position to succeed. And let's land on Mars together.
Copy EDL phase. And as flight director, I also would like to thank the whole team, cruise ops, EDL ops, EDL team, and the surface ops as well. It's been an amazing journey. I think we all know that. And it's been my honor and pleasure to work with you all side by side. And your tireless efforts and endurance in the face of our challenges has been truly, truly inspiring. So kudos to you. Mission, would you like to say something?
Yeah, just echoing the same words that Al and Magdi have mentioned. You guys have overcome great obstacles in the last 6.5 months, and it started with an earthquake in this room on launch day at L-20 minutes. So I can't be more proud than all of the achievements that you guys have pulled off in the last 6.5 months. Whatever happens in the next hour and a half, you can be proud of the achievements that you've accomplished so far. I look forward to seeing you on the other side, and I only wish that the rest of our team could be sharing this moment with us. This is a very unusual event. This room is only half as full as it would be if we weren't in this pandemic. So missing everybody on the team who's not with us here today. And go EDL.
Welcome to the EDL family.
Very impressive. They worked many years on this moment.
All right, activity. Go
But
ahead
yeah,
and
you can imagine that in Elite Dangerous it's the same. You have to accelerate half the time and then brake the other half.
Anchor. As I was mentioning, we changed our CBM row to EDL Reserve two-way non-coherent. That row reinforces our CBM windows disabled, keeps our packetization on, it turns off our ranging and switches to the auxiliary oscillator. We have also started our real-time data product and reinforced Medley on. At this time,
Now, we just heard Perseverance team leaders thank the cruise team for their work in guiding the rover to Mars. Now, did you know the rover name and Mars helicopter name came from students? Well, a couple weeks ago, Marina was able to catch up with them.
Thanks, Raquel. Earlier this year, NASA and our partners held a nationwide essay contest to name our Mars rover. Alex Mather, a 7th grader from Springfield, Virginia, submitted the winning essay that was selected by NASA from a field of more than 28,000 entries from K through 12 students in every state in the U.S. Vanessa Rupani's essay for Ingenuity was so compelling, NASA thought it would be a perfect name for the history-making helicopter, a technology demonstration carried aboard the Perseverance rover. Alex and Vanessa join us now. Welcome, you guys.
Hello, space nerds.
Hello, space nerds.
Now, you got to go to Florida and watch the launch live back in July. Alex, what were you feeling as you saw that rocket launch into the sky?
I read a log of books written by astronauts, and every single one of them always talks about the raw power behind the space launch. And I definitely feel like watching the launch.
Yes, they also worked for a government that hated science. True.
Of, well, inspiration mixed with anticipation, along with that rumbling.
But they started working before the government came into place, I guess. That helped probably tremendously.
Many conversations with your classmates since this all began. Now, what kind of questions have they asked you?
I got some people asking me about what this helicopter is, what this rover is, what are they actually going to do. So I love that this whole experience sparked a greater interest in the mission in my community.
Why do you think it's so important for kids to be inspired by space exploration?
Because space is the future, and kids are the future. Learning about space and watching the story of humanity spread to the stars happen is watching the future happen and seeing history unfold.
The best way to keep our home safe and protect our planet is to learn from the worlds around it. So I think it's really important for the next generation of scientists to be engaged in that type of exploration to make our home the best place it can be.
Now, speaking of the future,
Also,
what has
space
your
is
life
pretty
been
cool.
like since naming the rover and helicopter? Has it sparked any future aspirations for the two of you?
Oh man, I am currently applying to a science and technology school for high school. Hoping for a NASA internship sometime along the way, with my ultimate goal being to join the incredible team of scientists and engineers who are about to make this happen.
This whole experience has definitely shown me that I want to go into the space industry. I came home from Florida, did all my college applications, and checked aerospace engineering on all the boxes. I mean, the whole time we were there, I was thinking, why would anyone want to do anything else?
So true, and the best of luck to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Alex and Vanessa.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. I had a great
I
time.
like it.
Now
Hey,
your
Space
essays,
Nerd
as well as the top
introduction.
155
Definitely a highlight.
finalist essays, are riding on the Perseverance rover, along with nearly 11 million of the names from all over the world that were submitted before launch. And if you miss the chance to get your name on Perseverance, then you will get another chance to reserve a spot on the next mission to Mars. So make sure that you sign up now at mars.nasa.gov for your boarding pass. As virtual celebrations are happening all over the globe, let's take a look at some of your submissions on our social channels, showing us how you're celebrating the Perseverance landing right now. And remember to hashtag Countdown to Mars and send those in. We would love to show them off. Look at these kids. They are getting so excited. Everyone's watching it. A lot of classrooms are watching it. Oh, and great, someone did a Lego version of Perseverance, which is awesome. It looks fantastic. We love getting all your pictures out there. We've gotten a lot of artwork from kids, which has been great. I know I have a 9-year-old
As a very
John at
sarcastic
home,
myself
and
would
he
say,
loves to draw
what
the
if
rover.
he did not build it with
And
actual
look at that.
Legos? Then
That
would
is
Lego
awesome.
would
That's
come
better than
and
anything I could
sue
think of,
NASA
for sure.
because they called
Perseverance in a cake. That looks
stones that
super
are not
delicious.
produced
I
by
wanna get into
Legos, and NASA usually Legos doesn't
Another
want that.
great send-in
Lego is a weird,
from
weird company
David
in that
Bowie
regard.
Reel. Thank you so much for your submissions. Remember, hashtag Countdown to Mars. We love to see how you're celebrating. Now, you might know our
Yeah, there are a lot
next
of cool
guests
people
from
out
shows
there.
like Emily's Wonder Lab.
But there's sadly
Joining me
also a
now
lot of
is
strange
Emily
people there.
Pilantrelli. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Now, you are very passionate about getting kids interested in science and space exploration. Why do you think kids are so excited about space?
Well, I know the reason I'm excited about space, and I think it's the same reason that many others are excited about space, and it's that the people in the space industry work to answer two of the biggest questions that humans have ever asked. Are we alone in the universe, and where did we all come from? And by sending a rover to Mars, we are gaining evidence for the answers to these questions, more evidence than we ever had before, and I think that's so exciting.
It is, and I know you get loads of interesting questions from kids. Have you gotten any about Mars specifically?
Oh my gosh, yes. Everybody loves Mars. It's in movies and books and TV shows, and everybody loves Mars. So one of the things that I get asked a lot is that, it's called the red planet. Why is it red? Well, it's red because it's literally rusty. The top layer of soil on Mars has iron oxide in it, or rust, and rust has that brownish red color. So it's red because it's rusty. And also because it's red, they ask, is it red hot? Is it really hot on Mars? And well, no, actually, it's colder than the Earth. It's farther away from the sun. So as you would imagine, it's a little bit colder than the Earth. It also has a really thin atmosphere. So the heat that it does have, it has a hard time keeping in. And so it's a little bit colder. But then I also get asked, what would I weigh on Mars? That's a really fun question. So on Mars, it's a little bit smaller than the Earth, so the gravity there is weaker. It's about 3/8 the gravity that we have here on Earth. So if you weighed 100 pounds here on Earth, you'd weigh 38 pounds on Mars, or 100 kilograms here on Earth, 38 kilograms on Mars.
Those are all super fun. I think even some adults want to know the answers to those questions, Emily. Now, why do you think it's so
It's also
important
very
to
dry on
educate
Mars.
kids
I think
about
it's
science and give them
400
that great
times
foundation?
drier than the driest place on
Science
Earth.
is the language of nature, and learning
In the
about
water.
science and learning how to think like a scientist means you are learning how to systematically seek out truth in the world. You are learning the scientific method, you're learning how to be a critical thinker, and honestly, those skills are great for whatever you end up wanting to do in life.
True. If you want to be a scientist or an opera singer, that holds true. And what are you most excited about today?
I mean, humans are launching a robot to Mars. That doesn't happen every day. I think in all of the hecticness that is going on today and all of the nerves, I just hope everyone can take a moment to sit back and remember that we live in a time when humans have the ability to send a robot to another planet. And that's so cool to me.
It is very cool, Emily. Take a deep breath. Thanks for joining us here.
Thanks for having me.
Sending it back to you now, Raquel.
Thanks, Marina. We are offering lots of ways to ride along with us to Mars. Now put yourself right into the action now with our Perseverance photo booth. You can pose next to the rover, place yourself in our mission control, and even see what you might look like taking a selfie on the red planet. There, you'll also have a chance to sign up to send your name to Mars on NASA's next flight to the red planet. It's all available at go.nasa.gov/Mars 2020 Toolkit. And joining us now is JPL Chief Engineer and Landing Veteran Rob Manning. He will be breaking down key moments coming up, and very few people know more about landing on Mars than Rob, going back to the Pathfinder mission in 1997. Thanks for joining us today, Rob.
I also have this downloaded in the background.
Thank you very much, Rick, for
this NASA app.
Here. And what a wonderful experience.
I'm not sure if it's real time. I hope it is.
We're just also excited here, anxious, worried, but very hopeful.
Can I zoom out?
Rob, I have a question for you. There is a landing tradition at JPL that involves eating peanuts for good luck. Can you tell us how did that start?
Yes, it started in the mid-1960s. What happened was we had a series of missions that had failures. The Ranger program in the early 1960s, one after another, failed. And what happened was one day a fellow by the name of Dick Wallace on Ranger number 7, on the 7th attempt, decided to bring peanuts to the ops area just before the launch, and guess what? That mission worked. Now, we're not supposed to be too superstitious. We're engineers and scientists after all, but we love tradition. And ever since then, before launch and before critical events like entry, descent, landing, we have brought out peanuts and shared them with the team. And it's been really a wonderful little experience. And so this is something we will do. We're doing right now. And it's something that we just can't help ourselves. It's just part of the experience.
Well, speaking of the experience, how did the Perseverance team keep the tradition alive this year?
Well, this year we're passed out little packets of peanuts to the team, and they can sneak one peanut in their mouth as part of to keep the tradition alive. But you know, this is part of the COVID experience, but we can't leave this one undone. So this is what we're doing, and this is going to help us land safely.
All right, thanks, Rob. I have some questions for you a little later on, but we're heading back to Swati Mohan, who is part of the landing team. She'll be calling out key milestone and events as they happen from Mission Control, so let's listen in right now.
So right now we're still about 20 minutes from entry, and the EL phase is giving a last-minute confirmation of what will be happening in the upcoming changes to the vehicle, just to remind the team.
This will allow us to steer our trajectory as we make our way through the atmosphere. This is one of the things that allowed MSL, the Curiosity rover, to land where it did. And we're depending on the same type of entry guidance this time around to help get us very close to our target. As we make our way through entry, finish our guided entry profile, we'll do a maneuver called heading alignment, where we point toward the target and get ready to deploy the parachute. But before we deploy the parachute, we need to get rid of a set of balanced masses that have been giving us a center of gravity, or CG offset, throughout the guided entry phase. So these are called the entry balance masses. We also call this maneuver SUFR, S-U-F-R, or straighten up and fly right. So we'll go ahead and eject those masses when we get a trigger from the GNC system telling us that we're at the appropriate range to the target to do so. As soon as we deploy those, we will no longer have a CG offset, and we'll be ready to deploy the parachute 17 seconds later.
Right where the Perseverance team is sitting now, what's in store for them as we approach landing?
I'm going to hold here for EO prep as we're about to start that anchor.
Copy phase 2. And activity, please call that out when it's ready. Copy, Flip.
We'll make the announcement now. Okay. Maggie's make the announcement that
All right. Now, Rob, you've been right where the Perseverance team is sitting now. What's in store for them as we approach landing?
Well, this is the really this is the nail-biting time. Fortunately, we still have ones and zeros coming, but very soon, as we approach cruise stage separation, the transmitter on this rover we've been using all the way to get to Mars is going to be turned off. So we will lose our ability to see ones and zeros. But the good thing is, once the cruise stage is gone, there's another radio that will continue transmitting a tone, so that like a flashlight, that will allow us to at least see that the vehicle is still on, and that color of that flashlight tells us a little bit what state the rover's in. But soon after that, it won't be very long before we'll be able to hear more ones and zeros coming from the spacecraft. So this is a really exciting time, and it's just important to remind people there's a lot that can go wrong in a day like today. There are thousands of things that have to go right.
Yeah, we had success in the past landing on Mars. You'd think it gets easier, but it really doesn't. Why is it still so difficult?
Well, it's because it's involved thousands and thousands of things, hundreds of thousands of lines of code. There's 79 pyrotechnic devices. Each have to work perfectly. One critical wire short, or one key thing mechanism that doesn't work or breaks, and it's mission over. And so it's and it's very easy. We're human beings. We're not perfect. Mistakes can be made. We count on each other to find our own mistakes, and we work very hard to learn from the mistakes of the past. We've had many failures. Remind people, roughly around half of the missions to Mars over history have failed. And so that could happen today too. Even though we've had a nice, wonderful string of successes in the United States, it's still still a bit of a gamble that we have hoped that we have erred in the side of luck, and we've stacked the deck and loaded the dice to make this thing succeed. But if we do fail, and something bad happens today, I can tell you, we're going to learn it. We'll have the data that tell us what happened. We'll know why. We'll figure it out. And if we are allowed, we will pick ourselves up and get us back on the horse. And if Congress and NASA allow, we will try again. As we always do, we will learn from our mistakes.
And what are the possible scenarios we could be looking at today?
Well, there's things like one of the key stressful elements for all of us is parachute inflation. But just even separating from the cruise stage is a pretty major event. Lots of devices have to work properly. Certainly, the heat shield separation, getting the descent engine started. There's no less than 16 rocket motors that have to work. 8 to control during entry, another 8 to control it during landing. I said it's a lot of stuff, and it all has to work. And guess what? We haven't done this before with this vehicle ever. This is its first attempt to actually land. We can't try this on Earth. We can't we don't have test pilots to try it out on this planet before the big show. So this vehicle is doing it for the first time. We've done the best testing we can do in bits and pieces, but it's as best as we could do. But I think our team is up to it. This team is the best. It's a diverse, intelligent, amazing group of people. People from all over the world who worked on this, not just here in California, but all over NASA, contributors from aerospace, universities, countries around the world. It is just an incredible, remarkable engineering achievement, and I am just so proud of this team.
Thanks, Rob. Now, let's listen back into Mission Control.
Right, you're about 14 minutes from
Okay.
entry interface.
So I prepared something in the background in case you hear me clicking around a little bit. It's going silent here. I hope it works. I have this now picture-in-picture mode, so you see the thing at the bottom left. And this is the program they saw, this NASA's Eyes visualization. And it's basically, I assume, a simulation of what's going on. So I assume this is the
We have now enabled the Rover Pyro button.
landing thing. It's called a satellite. No, it's not a satellite, but you know what I mean. The thing that will land. The rover is inside this capsule here. And
These
yeah,
are these are the
can
things in the
actually
cruise
watch
stage
it
that
now
will-
somewhat
that we
in
no
real
longer
time, which is
need.
kind of
With the
cool in
power
my
chip
opinion.
system working, we can
I have
we
to
can
make a duplicate of
explode
this,
devices
and
that
so we
explode.
can also see it the other way around.
Stage separation in about 3 minutes 15 seconds by powering off
I hope it
all the
works for you
devices
people
on the cruise
watching.
stage in order that they can be safe once
It's been a
the
ton of
cruise
time
stage is
practicing the
jettisoned.
worst case. Yeah, of course. A lot of stuff is like making this fail safe as much as possible.
This cruise stage has been very reliable.
We are firing our first pyros to vent the HRS liquid and gas.
Nah, there's a
This
lot
has
of
been the
stuff
coolant that's
figuring
kept
out.
the vehicle from getting too hot on the way to Mars. We have to vent it into space. And so this is one of the first major events that take place as part of entry, descent, landing.
The HRS vent anchor.
So what will happen now? We get closer to the
We will
atmosphere of
see the
Mars.
next anchor in approximately 3 minutes.
Can we go to the surface?
Okay.
We are currently 12.5 minutes from entry interface. We are
No.
coming upon cruise stage
Maybe we
separation
can
in
there.
2 minutes and 20 seconds.
So let's go down here.
Okay,
That's
well,
like
we're just
this,
waiting.
is it deactivated?
Rover is completely in charge. It's doing all the things we've taught it how to do. It's all built into the software. We've tested it over and over and over again. This team has spent 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, testing this thing for years. And so this is really the culmination of all that work. So this vehicle is getting ready to push that cruise stage away. Once it gets pushed away,
here.
The entry system, the
Yeah,
rover
that's
inside,
a problem,
the
I
rover
guess.
is still in charge. It's going to get ready to take the vehicle, turn it to the right orientation, and aim it to Mars, and prepare for entering the atmosphere.
We can just zoom out, I guess. Where is... I mean, Eris. Eris is very far away. Oh, that's Pioneer 10. That's a Pioneer anomaly.
Be prepared for this event.
We're about 1.5 minutes from cruise stage separation. About 11 minutes.
Saturn
20 seconds
will be
from
really
entry
difficult. Well, Jupiter is close enough for my taste. Let's go to Jupiter really fast.
It's about 10 minutes from cruise stage separation till it enters the top of the
Jupiter.
atmosphere. From then out and out, things happen fast.
And here we can see Mars. There it is. Let's try to get back. Probably will be
Telecom is
somewhat
confirming that
difficult.
the spacecraft has switched to broadcasting tones. These tones are received directly from Perseverance, but have very limited information content. We won't receive real-time information until about 9-10 minutes from now, once the Mars reconnaissance.
See, there's a lot of stuff
starts
going
relaying information from
going up at
Perseverance.
Mars right now.
We are under a minute from cruise stage separation, about 10.5 minutes from entry interface.
It's getting exciting. I have to admit, I am quite anxious, but very hopeful that this machine is going to do what we asked it to do. You're seeing the heartbeat tones. Okay.
So really cool stuff going on. Can we probably faster? Oh, we can check what New Horizon is up to too. That's cool. Loading. It's relatively far away. So where is New Horizon? Well, it's out here somewhere.
Standing by for cruise
Kind
stage
of
separation.
really cool little app here. That thing is also so fast. Can't rotate the thing how I want to. But whatever. Let's go back to Mars. I assume
We have indication that cruise stage separation has been confirmed
there's
by
the
the
opportunity
spacecraft.
landing side. Where's now the other stuff?
We're off on a good start.
In about 1 minute, Perseverance's landing software will wake up and begin the final preparations for
In
entry.
1 minute, stuff
The
will
first
get
act it will
interesting.
do
In
is
the meantime,
to
I
fire
play
warm-up
with this
pulses
weird
with
program here.
Entry thrusters. These pulses ensure that the spacecraft gets the thrust that it wants
Curiosity.
during entry interface. We're about 9 minutes from entry interface.
How do I get back to the main menu of this program?
Okay, so now the vehicle's on its own. It's turning itself
Did
into the
something
direction
wrong.
of facing the heat shield toward Mars, and will eventually.
Well, I'll play. I give you the main
hitting the
screen
top of
again.
the atmosphere. We're not far away. This is going to go very quickly from here on out.
I have confirmation that we got shadowed by the cruise stage as it passed through our beam to the Earth.
Telecom indicated actually that we could see a signal that the cruise stage went between the Perseverance entry capsule and Earth. So we saw a little blip the data stream indicating the cruise stage separation. We have confirmation that the vehicle has started warming up those entry thrusters. Warm-up pulses have begun. At this point, the spacecraft is trying to stop its spin from the cruise 2
Atmospheric
revolutions per
entry,
minute
8
down
minutes.
to
Okay,
0.
we still
and
have
then
some
will
time
to
left.
its desired orientation from entry. It will separate the two balance masses that has kept it balanced during all of cruise. This will allow the entry capsule to have lift when it enters the atmosphere. We have confirmation that the spacecraft has turned to the desired entry attitude. We're about 7.5 minutes from entry interface.
Okay, to start the program, that might help.
Okay,
I kind of
the
impressive that
vehicle
we
is
have like
pointed in the right direction.
stuff like this.
Thrusters
Really
are
cool.
warmed up and doing their job. And now we've spun down from the 2 revolutions per minute that the vehicle had the whole way to Mars. It was a spin-stabilized spacecraft. And then from here on out, it's going to just be a bullet, and it's going to control its orientation and attitude via rockets on the back of that back shell.
Points carrier lock. DTE from Radio Science from Green Bank reports carrier lock. Do you see the carrier on the downlink?
Flight level 1.
We are continuing to wait for entry interface. We're about 6 minutes and 45 seconds from entry interface. We have confirmation from Greenback that they are receiving direct-to-Earth telemetry via that path. The spacecraft Perseverance is currently transmitting heartbeat tones. These tones indicate that Perseverance is operating normally and has nothing significant to report. This is as expected. We're currently just over.
We should not check out what
entry
Voyager is doing, right? So we are getting close. Oh, we can look through Mars. That's how Mars looks from the inside.
Now we wait.
Kind of funny. I guess the thing has problem to...
As soon as we get to the top of the atmosphere, it'll be very quickly, which is the entry point. It won't be very long before the atmosphere will start getting thicker and thicker. It's going very quickly at a fairly steep angle of 15 degrees into the atmosphere, and as it starts to slow down...
See? It slows down, and now it falls down, and then...
We're still receiving heartbeat tones. We expect to continue receiving heartbeat tones until about 5
I think the
minutes
program has a bit
after
trouble to
entry.
getting so close to an object that's so close to the
No
surface.
longer in view of our antennas here on Earth. About 90 seconds prior to entry, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter should begin receiving telemetry from Perseverance and streaming it to Earth in near real time. There are a few expected short outages, such as when we have a plasma blackout or when we enter the peak heating phase. Aside from these outages caused by the plasma blackout, antenna switching, or high dynamic events, spacecraft events, we should have telemetry until about 90 seconds after landing. A plasma blackout is when the signal from Perseverance isn't strong enough to make it through the superheated, super fast air flowing around the spacecraft all the way down to Earth. Once the temperature drops below that peak heating, we do reacquire the signal from Perseverance. We are currently about 4.5 minutes from entry interface. Perseverance continues to report heartbeat tones, indicating everything is nominal.
Okay, what we're looking for now is Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter should be in view soon of our vehicle and be able to listen to ones and zeros coming from a separate radio that's really designed to talk between spacecraft.
Camera reports the electro radio is powered on, ready to receive signals from the lander.
Okay, MRO is ready and able and waiting for to hear from our rover.
Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter has reported that it's ready to receive the signals from Perseverance. It should be in a few minutes here. We're just
Flight level 1
from entry interface.
We don't need these ones and zeros, as Swati said, but to land safely. But we really need it for our own health and well-being today to keep our nerves under control. But
around this time, a second spacecraft, Maven, should begin picking up telemetry from Perseverance and will continue to record that telemetry until several minutes post-landing. We won't get that data for several hours after landing as it's being recorded and then will be forwarded to Earth later. We are continuing to receive heartbeat tones, indicating that everything is nominal. We're currently at about 3 minutes until entry interface.
Okay. Very soon we'll be getting ones and zeros, I hope, from our radio on the rover. The entry interface is nothing more than just an arbitrary place in the sky that we've defined to be above the atmosphere. But from that point on, there's definitely atmosphere, and above it there isn't.
We are 2 minutes from entry interface. Perseverance is to transmit heartbeat tones, indicating everything is nominal.
So the tones can tell us whether something's bad or not is happening. So far the heartbeat is doing well. So the vehicle thinks it's in good shape to land, which is a great sign.
Also fascinating that Mars has 2 little moons. They're really small.
We're just under 2 minutes from entry interface. As it gets closer to Mars, Perseverance is actually being pulled in by gravity and accelerating. By the time Perseverance reaches entry interface point, she should be going just under 5.4 kilometers per second. We're at about 90 seconds from entry interface and standing by for Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter to pick up the telemetry. We are 1 minute from entry interface.
MROs are in receive mode.
We have confirmation that the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter is now relaying data from Perseverance. We're about 30 seconds from entry interface. Perseverance is going about 5.2 kilometers per second and is about 190 kilometers altitude above the
Kilometers
surface
per second.
of
That
Mars.
was pretty fast.
Confirm your jet data flow.
But yeah, speeds like those are needed.
About seconds from entry interface. 5.3 kilometers per second and an altitude of about 150 kilometers from the surface of Mars. We have confirmation of entry interface. Perseverance is currently going 5.3 kilometers per second at an altitude of about 120 kilometers from the surface of Mars. The spacecraft is now waiting until it begins feeling the atmosphere of Mars slow it down. Once there is enough atmosphere, it will start controlling its path to the landing target. Navigation is also confirming that we can see a little bit of that slowdown of the atmosphere on the Perseverance entry capsule. Our current velocity is about 5.36 kilometers per second and an altitude of about 67 kilometers from the surface.
We are probably seeing MRO plasma blackout at this point.
which should
So
be
they
doing
don't
its
have
turns right now.
real-time
And
data
lost
stuff.
log.
Perseverance. We have indications that Perseverance is now performing bank reversals in the atmosphere. These are the steps in order to control its distance to the landing target. Perseverance has just passed through the point of maximum deceleration and has indicated that it felt approximately 10 Earth Gs of deceleration.
Camera on lock again.
10 Gs. Unpleasant, I guess.
We saw a small outage of the UHF telemetry from Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter during that peak heating phase, likely caused by the plasma blackout. Perseverance is still continuing to perform bank reversals in the atmosphere to control its distance to the landing target.
Also interesting, I just played around with the other program a bit in the background. Let me show it to you really quick. With the picture-in-picture thing. This is a crater here. It doesn't look like a crater, but it's really huge. Like, that's the thing that will land there, and we can zoom out. We still don't see the crater. And we zoom out and think, what is going on with this crater? And it's huge. This is a crater. I think. I'm not sure how correct the scale is, but this is huge, this thing. Let's move back to the other mode now, so you see what's going on the another thing. Also, as I said, the data from this vessel needs 11 minutes to actually get there.
Our current velocity is about 550 meters per second at an altitude of about 15
And just in one
kilometers
direction. So if
from the
they
surface.
send a signal, it takes 11 minutes. It sends the signal back, 11 minutes. It's just insane.
MRO's reporting good.
It also, I guess, needs some infrastructure, technology, and planning to just get the signal from there to Earth, I guess.
We are starting the straighten up and fly right maneuver, where the spacecraft will jettison the entry balance masses in preparation for parachute deploy and to roll over to give the radar a better look at the ground.
Okay, wait for parachute to deploy.
The navigation has confirmed that the parachute has deployed, and we are seeing significant deceleration in the velocity. Our current velocity is 440 meters per second at an altitude of about 12
That was
kilometers
11
from
minutes
the
ago, I
surface
guess.
Mars.
But nice. There it is. Parachute.
Perseverance is now slowed to subsonic speeds, and the heat shield has been separated. This allows
Okay,
both the radar and the
subsonic
camera
speed,
to get
so
their first
they
look
now
at the
much
surface.
slower.
Current velocity
The heat shield is gone.
145 meters per second at an altitude of about 9.5 kilometers above the surface.
Yes.
Perseverance now has radar lock on the ground. Current velocity is about 100 meters per second.
Okay.
6.6 kilometers of the surface.
I think what it means is it can scan the ground now and find a landing site.
Perseverance is
That's what it means. The
continuing to
radar
descend on the
lock is
parachute.
working.
We are coming up on the initialization of terrain relative navigation and subsequently the priming of the landing engines. Our current velocity is about 90 meters per second at an altitude of 4.2 kilometers. We have confirmation that the lander vision system has produced a valid solution and part of terrain relative navigation. We have timing of the landing engines. Current velocity is 83 meters per second at about 2.6 kilometers from the surface Mars. We have confirmation that the back shell has separated. We are currently performing the divert maneuver Current velocity is about 75 meters per second at an altitude of about 1 kilometer off the surface of Mars.
Okay, now the thing needs to land safely and in a good place.
Our terrain relative navigation. Current speed is about
That starts to become interesting.
Second, altitude of about
I like 0.38, done.
Off the surface of Mars. We have started our constant velocity accordion, which means we are conducting the sky crane, about to conduct the sky crane maneuver.
We've lost direct to Earth tones.
As expected. As expected.
Sky crane maneuver has started.
Ready for touchdown.
About 20 meters off the surface.
Done.
We're getting signals from MRO.
UHF is good. Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars, ready to begin seeking the sands.
We made it. We just observed history.
At this point, the descent stage has flown away to a safe distance. Perseverance is continuing to transmit direct through Mars orbiter to Earth.
Let's hope everything is fine.
Oh my God. Oh. Oh.
MRO reports they're still getting telemetry from the lander.
All right, all stations.
We got it.
Touchdown confirmed. We're going to wait for the images.
Wow.
This is so exciting. The team is.
And I'm curious to see.
It's so surreal.
Probably they will start seeing if it sends, and so takes of course some time. The question is the data they have? I assume it's 11 minutes old, right? But still, we had just space stuff that that's the point of things happen in parallel. Just
that
weird.
Perseverance is alive on the surface of Mars.
Well, it worked. It landed. Seems everything is okay.
We have seen the completion of EDL 3000.
Copy activity. That is as expected.
Let's hope nothing broke down on landing and got a good spot and it's not trapped in some rock ditch or whatever.
MRO still seeing a strong signal from the lander.
On a sand hole or whatever you call this on Mars. Okay, the camera is doing things. I don't know why it does this.
We have just heard the news that Perseverance is alive on the surface of Mars. Congratulations to the mission. And
Close program backup maybe.
looks like we have some more news in. It looks like we're getting the first image.
There's the image. It's pretty tiny though.
Flight, this is OL3. I have the target point on the map when you are ready.
We are ready, OL3. Go for it.
Isn't there...
Flight, I'll be moving in, showing you the safe zone that we've landed in.
Just put the first image from Perseverance on the surface of Mars. Now it comes from the engineering cameras known as the hazard camera. This camera is mainly used to help the rover drive safely around Mars, and we will get higher resolution photos later in the day.
Why does this not work? Is it because no space? the clapper. Yeah, pretty awesome.
For Steve. Stand by for Steve.
Okay, mankind made it, I guess.
You did. You led the team. You made it happen. Congratulations,
That's the new the PogChamp of the day. That's weird. I take it.
We just got our second image in. Our second image is in.
Okay, these we have a camera in the front and rear of the spacecraft. They're near the ground, so these are pretty close. So you can see the wheels there, and they're a little dirty because we've got glass covers over these cameras. But we took these seconds after landing, so there's still dust in the air from our landing event. So this is happening. This happened just seconds ago. Just arrived, and this is really amazing.
Pretty cool.
We even know where we landed. This is the most amazing thing. The vehicle has told us where it's landed because it figured it out. This is a sign. NASA works. NASA works. And when we put our arms together and our hands together and our brains together, we can succeed. This is what NASA does. This is what we can do as a country. On all of the problems we have, we need to work together to do these kinds of things and make success happen.
Joining us now is the acting administrator of NASA, Steve Jurczyk. Steve, welcome and congratulations.
Hey, thank you. What an amazing day.
And how does it feel to have another rover on Mars?
It's amazing to have Perseverance join Curiosity on Mars, and what just a credit to the team. I mean, just what an amazing team to work through all the adversity that goes and all the challenges that go with landing a rover on Mars, plus the challenges of COVID, and just an amazing accomplishment.
And what does this mean for NASA and its future plans?
So for robotic exploration, every time we execute a mission with new instruments, we discover new things and things we never thought we would discover. So that always informs our future robotic missions, both landers, rovers, and orbiters. This mission also has technology on it. One of the cool things is the Ingenuity helicopter. It's an experiment on this mission, but if it's successful, we can use it as an science observation platform by putting instruments on it, and also use it as a scout for future rover missions, and then just the entry, descent, and landing capability. It'll allow us to land more larger, more ambitious robots on the surface of Mars, and then for human exploration. We have the Mars Entry, Descent, and Landing Instrumentation, which is going to give us EDL information. We have the Mars Environmental Dynamics Analyzer. It's going to give us size and properties of dust particles, because when we send people, we're going to have to deal with that dust. This is just an incredible mission because of the science and the technology, and then caching samples for a Mars sample return mission. That will be an amazing mission, the first round trip to Mars and back, and bringing those samples cached by Perseverance back to Earth to examine with state-of-the-art equipment in our laboratories here on Earth.
We have so much to look forward to. And we also have a student question coming in from Landon. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Landon Applegate. I'm in 6th grade, and I'm going to Academy for Academic Excellence. And my question is, do you think we could get resources from Mars to help on future missions, or even as like a launching point?
Great question, Landon. Actually, we have an experiment called the Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment, or MOXIE, and it's going to demonstrate generating oxygen from atmospheric CO2, and that could help generate breathable oxygen, and even if we can liquefy it, oxidizer for propulsion systems. So that's a tech demo on Perseverance. And then we're going to continue to characterize the frozen water on and below the surface of Mars, and eventually try to figure out how to extract that water from the Martian soil, or what we call regolith. And then we can use that for potable water and also break it down into oxygen and hydrogen for rocket fuel. So absolutely, we're going to try to eventually figure out how to live off the land to support human missions to Mars.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today, Steve.
Thank you.
And now that Perseverance has safely touched down on Mars, let's learn more about what's in store for the rover. Joining us now is Surface Mission Manager Jessica Samuels. Jessica, your surface operations team has now taken over. What are they doing now?
Yes. Hi, Raquel. We are so excited here in the Surface Mission Support area. The team will do a handover with the entry, descent, and landing team and pass any critical information. And then this team behind us will be the team that does the health and safety assessments daily as we progress on this mission.
And what do the upcoming weeks look like for your team?
So as we enter Mars time now, the commanding team will be working overnight while the rover is asleep so that we can perform the initial checkouts of our key rover functions and our science instruments. And we have to do this all in time for the regularly scheduled communication pass, which happens in the morning. And so we will be working around the clock, making sure that Perseverance is healthy, and we will begin this exciting adventure.
And can you tell me, what's it like living on Mars time?
It's a little bit like constantly, flying and changing your time zone. The rover, on Earth, the rover wakes up at the same time every day, but on Earth, that's 40 minutes later. So the team is going to be shifting our work schedule by 40 minutes as we come into work over the next few weeks. So it'll be exciting and some late nights, but we're also excited and we can't wait.
It's a whole new lifestyle.
Yes.
We also have a student question for you. This is Sophia's video.
Hi, my name is Sophia Lopez, and my question for NASA is, how's Perseverance gonna survive? And here's a drawing that I made from Perseverance thinking about Earth. Thank you.
Well, Sophia, Perseverance survives with a power source that charges its batteries overnight while it sleeps, and it keeps heaters on so that all of our critical electronics can stay warm, as well as our mechanism. But it's really survived by the team that performs the health and safety assessments every day and communicates with the rover and makes sure that she's doing okay.
Well, thanks for your time, Jessica, and good luck living on Mars time.
Thank you. Should be fun.
Let's head back to Marina as she gives us a sneak peek into the future at JPL.
Thanks so much, Raquel. It's definitely bustling behind me. It's not quiet like it was just 20 minutes ago. And congrats to the whole team. What an amazing accomplishment. Mike Watkins is the director of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He was the mission manager during the Curiosity rover landing on Mars. Welcome, Mike.
Oh, thanks. Glad to be here. You can see all my mask markings on.
Well, you were just celebrating, and rightly so. Now, you've been around for a number of Mars landings. What makes this one special?
Well, you know, two things. I mean, it's the biggest and best rover we've ever sent to Mars, and it can really, you know, do amazing things in terms of, you know, its own scientific exploration of this habitable environment, you know, at Jezero. But, you know, it's also, as you've heard today, you know, it's the first step in Mars sample return. So really, you know, it's not only doing its own mission, it's setting us up for a series of missions and to bring those samples back. And, you know, a lot of the effort to develop the rover.
In case people wondering how the
specifically
thing is
designed,
powered,
for that
it has a
sampling and caching
little
system. It's
plutonium
one of the most
reactor in
complex
it.
robotic systems ever made.
With 4.5,
And, you know, having it down safely
4.8
means
kilograms
Mars sample
or
return
11
continues
pounds
right on course
of
and we are moving
plutonium-238.
forward.
Didn't expect that, to be honest.
Wonderful. Now,
but
JPL has a
I guess it makes
long
sense.
history with robotic space exploration. Why do you think it's so important to continue to push those boundaries?
You know, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, obviously, for places that are far away, like Mars, and even farther away, you know, like Europa. Right now, robotic exploration is the only way we can make those scientific discoveries and really understand these early habitable environments. In the case of Europa, maybe it's even still habitable. And you know, we're not ready to go there with astronauts yet, but the robots are ready to go there. And so we always, you know, are forerunners and pathfinders of human exploration. And we start by sending, you know, our eyes and arms there in the form of a robot. And it is just fantastic to be able to do that and to learn from each rover, learn from the science and the engineering and make the next one better and make more and more discoveries. And every time we do one of these missions, we make fabulous discoveries. And you know, each one is more exciting than the last.
The future does look exciting. Now, as director of JPL, what would you like to say to those teams right now celebrating?
Oh, you know, obviously they have earned it. Let me tell you. I mean, they have worked, you know, for years and years on this mission, and then in the past year, of course, we had the COVID experience, and you know, I want to thank not only the team but also, you know, all of JPL. You know, a lot of folks had to pitch in here, you know, in terms of making sure our remote telework, you know, our IT systems were good enough to support folks working from home. You know, all of the folks looking at PPE and our safe distancing and reconfiguring facilities to make them safe for the employees. It's just an incredible amount of work by the entire lab, and of course, especially by this team. And you know, and in one sense, you know, the 7 minutes of terror are very exciting. But on the other hand, you know, the mission's just started, right? We built the mission, you know, not to land, but actually to drive and get the samples and do other technology, you know, demonstrations. And so, you know, for much of the team, you know, this part of the mission's over, but for most of the team, the mission's really just starting. And so, you know, I think they're very excited, but you know, everybody, I think, can take a deep breath and a sigh of relief now that we are safely down on the surface.
Yes, that collective sigh of relief, and I hear a lot of excitement and celebration behind me as well. So thanks so much for joining me, Mike.
It's my pleasure, and thanks to everyone for joining us too.
Congrats again to the Mars 2020 Perseverance team for a successful landing. Back to you, Raquel.
Now, there will be a flight test coming up for the Ingenuity Mars helicopter, and if this technology experiment is successful, it would mark the first time we have taken a power-controlled flight on another planet.
Sometimes you have to do something just to show that you can do it. When the Wright brothers flew for the first time, they flew an experimental aircraft. And in the same way, the Mars helicopter is designed to show that we can fly powered helicopter flight in the Martian atmosphere.
Curious if this experimental environment there had also the air pressure lowered.
From day one, this was the unwavering dream of our team, to get our helicopter launched to Mars so that we can get that opportunity to do that very first rotorcraft flight test in the actual environment of Mars. It's extremely difficult to fly at Mars because the atmosphere is so thin. Compared to Earth, at Mars it's less than 1%. So the first and foremost challenge is to make a vehicle that's light enough to be lifted. And then the second is to generate lift. The rotor system has just been very fast. 2,000, 2,200, 2,400, 2,600. We're spinning between 2,000 and 3,000 revolutions per minute, and it takes a lot of energy. So it's that balance of a very light system, yet having enough energy that's needed to, you know, spin the rotor so fast to lift, and on top of it, having to design in the autonomy.
It has to be fully autonomous from the time it takes off to the time it lands. What we do on the ground is we plan the flights, and so we determine from here where we want the helicopter to go.
Our experiment window is 30 Martian days. So we have planned up to 5 flights of incremental difficulty.
Very first flight, the main thing is we want to get the legs off the ground. And so we will basically go up about 3 meters and we'll hover there and then we'll come down again. And that will be the first, really major milestone.
Most of our flights will be at the 3 to 5 meter height. We will be going horizontally again at a few meters per second. Probably go out.
This thing has 350 watts.
In successive flights, we'll probably push that further, try to go further. So our priority will be to get back engineering telemetry and not so much
35 to
images.
40 watt hours.
Return a few, because they'll always look
Battery
cool.
capacity, interesting.
At this point, we've tested all we can on Earth. We have mathematical models that shows how it will fly at Mars, and we've tested it in the simulated environment that we can create on Earth. It really is time now to do the real flight tests at Mars.
Nothing is a given, but we have done everything we can in terms of a test program here on Earth. The vehicle's performing extremely well so far. It's been doing exactly the right thing, even right now when it's bolted onto the Perseverance rover. So there's a very good chance that we'll pull it off, yes. But it's still high risk, and none of us forget that you could have a glitch that, could mean end of mission, yes.
It's going to be exciting, reacting to any surprises we have. We can't wait. What's really most important is everything we're learning here is for the future rotorcraft systems that we want to introduce into space exploration.
Mimi Ong is the project manager for Ingenuity. She joins us now as they await a chance to check out their helicopter in the coming days. Welcome, Mimi.
Thank you, Marina.
Oh my goodness, we've been talking about this for months, Mimi. Did you ever think you'd be here at this point? I mean, what's going on in your head right now?
This is super exciting. We have been working on Mars helicopter for over 6 years, testing and carefully designing it for operation at Mars. So what's going through my mind? Ingenuity Mars helicopter is finally at the destination that it is designed for.
Now that Ingenuity is on Mars, what is the timeline you hope to accomplish as you move forward?
We have a series of major milestones between now and Ingenuity's first flight. So tomorrow we'll turn on the helicopter and its base station to confirm health after experiencing the dynamics through the EDL just now. And the next major milestone will be when the rover deploys the helicopter to the surface. And that marks the first moment that Ingenuity operates on its own in a standalone manner. And surviving that first cold, frigid night of Mars will be a major milestone. We'll execute a series of checkouts, and then we will perform that very important first flight. And if the first flight is successful, we have up to 4 more flights in the 30 Martian days that we have set aside for our flight experiments.
And that's when you finally can breathe, right, Mimi? Now, why is it so important to have that aerial dimension to space exploration?
A helicopter flying far ahead of rovers and astronauts in the future can provide high-definition reconnaissance information for the rovers and the astronauts before they take the long journeys. And as importantly, being able to fly will enable us to get to places that we cannot get to with rovers and astronauts, like sites of steep cliffs, deep inside crevices, areas of high scientific interest. It will be game-changing.
Game-changing is right, and we've talked about this a lot. You've mentioned the risk is huge, Mimi, but the reward is high. What will be your greatest reward?
Our team started with the question of whether a helicopter can fly at Mars, given the extremely thin environment. And we systematically demonstrated a series of technical steps. We demonstrated lift first, and then we demonstrated lift and the first ever powered control rotorcraft flight in simulated Mars atmospheric density. And then we went on to build the full-up helicopter that can not only fly, but operate and survive autonomously at Mars, all under 1.8 kilograms, about 4 pounds. And each of these major milestones have been a first. And the success at each of these has been so rewarding. And along the ways, the rewards just kept coming. And I have to tell you, at this moment, it's going up exponentially. So after all these tests analysis, simulations, and more tests on Earth, our team now gets a chance to test, prove, and learn how it works in the actual environment of Mars. Our team can't ask for a bigger reward than that.
Oh, Mimi, I'm so happy for you and your team. And now we're going to take a question from social media on Instagram for you. At Not Vibhuti asks, is the helicopter going to be doing science?
Well, the helicopter Ingenuity is a technology demonstration, and we are demonstrating the ability to fly and learning how to fly for the very, very first time. And so this is a technology demonstration and a pathfinder for future larger rotorcraft, future missions that will carry much larger instruments. So on this mission, we're not doing any science. We're concentrating on engineering data. How did the vehicle perform? And as you saw Bob Belram in the video before, we will be taking a few first ever color pictures from the flying aerial vantage point, but they'll be icing on the cake. For this one, this is all about engineering data and how do we fly compared to all our tests we have done on Earth.
Mimi, so much for your team and the future generations of scientists and engineers to look forward to.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Great
much
day.
for joining us, Mimi, and good luck to your team with that first test flight.
Thank you so much.
Now, we look forward to the Perseverance rover and Ingenuity helicopter beginning their journeys on Mars as their adventures are just about to start. Go Perseverance and go Ingenuity. Back to you, Raquel.
Thanks, Marina. Landing on Mars is never easy, but this team has persevered, and NASA's 5th rover is on the red planet. You can still hear them buzzing in the back right now. And to get the latest updates on Perseverance as it explores Mars, follow at NASA Persevere on Facebook and Twitter. I'd like to thank everyone watching for joining us today. And to the students and teachers tuning in, we hope you learned a lot from today's landing, and thank you for all your questions. We have a news briefing coming up at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Time. That briefing will wrap up the day and include reactions from Perseverance team members. We'll leave you now with some of the landing celebration photos you've shared with us, set to Youngblood's cover of David Bowie's Life on Mars. I'm Raquel Villanueva. Thanks for watching.
Okay. That sounds like video could get claimed. So we go to this. Had to do something about it. I can't play that as I get claiming stuff, I assume. So, as always, we have to be careful. Maybe not. Maybe the song is public domain for whatever reason. It's probably not. So yeah, that was it, I guess. That was this thing landing on Mars, doing cool stuff there, about charging up its power, doing all kinds of tests if everything is okay. Sorry. I still can show you the pip in the pip thing, I guess. I'm confused highly. In case you haven't noticed yet. I'm not even sure what you're seeing right now. Probably a black screen. No? It seems like it works. For whatever reason, I'm surprised myself. Pretty awesome. Hope it doesn't bring any man-eating worms to Earth. No, that's unlikely. It's gonna stay there. So you do hope it brings man-eating worms to Earth? No, I do not. Feels like the picture-in-picture just is for whatever reason stuck. Okay, I think it works again. So yeah, this thing just landed. Curious what happens with this thing. It probably also landed, but where does it go? What does it do? Does it have enough fuel to maybe fly up again or do some stuff? I don't know. But so far away. So far away. No, the opposite. What if it discovered man-eating worms, though? Would be very surprised. It flies away and crashes itself. Yeah, it's man-eating, not a Mars rover and Mars helicopter drone thing eating worms. So I don't think that would be a problem. It's still far away enough, I guess. And since there are no men on Mars yet, it would probably also die out because they have nothing to eat, right? Yeah, I'm also curious. I'm excited for the first high resolution pictures later or tomorrow or whenever they come. I hope everyone saw here my little demonstration of the light speed. I still find this one of the most shocking things on Earth. That yeah, this is probably for people tuning in just now. Just to explain the shocking truth about light speed. If one pixel has the size of the moon, roughly the size of the moon, then this would be the sun. You can't see my cursor, right? I always forgot about that detail. Let me just fix this really fast. Capture cursor. Okay, I think I broke it. Oh, now it works. Whatever reason it didn't work. So if this is the sun, this little pixel here, can you see my cursor now? No, you can't. Why can't it? Capture cursor. You should be able to see it. I don't see it though. Oh, now I see it. Yeah, so this little pixel here is the size of the moon. Or if it would be the size of the moon, then this would be the sun. And this, and let me demonstrate the speed of light. I think that's the most shocking thing on Earth, isn't it? Yeah, that's light speed. Deal with it. And we would have to watch this 8 minutes to just reach Earth. So just to have an idea about... Yeah, it's turtle speed. It's snail speed. It's just... fascinatingly slow, isn't it? Like, we went through it at the beginning of the stream, like, if this is the sun, we have to... That is Mercury. Let's do it a bit faster than light. This is maybe roughly... I don't know, 6 times the speed of light or something. Yeah. And then we reach Mercury. Mercury is relatively close to the sun, you have to know. It's 90s internet speed, exactly. It's maybe even 80s internet speed. Then this is Venus. You see, it takes some time to get there. Just holding down the the right arrow key. Then this is Earth and this is Moon. You see how that Moon is relatively far away from Earth. It takes light roughly, I think, over a second from Earth to Moon. Pretty far away. And now we go to Mars, the next planet, and it's always mind-blowing how far away this Mars planet is. Like, it takes a moment to get there. You're always surprised. Also with some good in-flight entertainment. Yeah, exactly. It's just so mind-blowing how much space in between. There's Mars. It's so scary, these wide empty spaces between the planets. Yeah, but you have no idea how far Jupiter is away from Mars. Like, this could take some time, even at this speed. Like, just imagine this mission would not go to Mars, but go to one of the moons of Jupiter, like Ganymede or Io or what else they have? Callisto or so. Calypso. Calypso? Yeah. Too many weird names. You see, by the way, we haven't reached Jupiter yet. It's maybe you thought, hey, maybe you scrolled over it. No, I didn't. It's still not there. Just mind-blowing, my opinion, this visualization of the distance. And just imagine, every pixel is the size of the moon that we have here. And we're going 6 times or 10 times the speed of light currently. Not slow light speed or anything. Like, literally, it's really hard to estimate, I guess, how fast we are. What I would say, we are we're at least 6, 7, 8, 10 times, maybe more, the speed of light. We can actually estimate it because we do, I think, a tenth of a second, yeah, 6 times the speed of light it should be. Because we do, in 10 seconds, we do 1 light minute, which is 60 light seconds. So, oh, by the way, we haven't reached Jupiter yet. Welcome to Jupiter. We're approaching Jupiter in roughly, what did I say, 10 seconds? No, 30 seconds from now, I think Jupiter is still away. If my calculation, maybe a bit less. It's hard to say how far away. We're getting there slowly. Slowly. Not yet there. And Jupiter should now pop up slowly. There it is. Sick, isn't it? That's Jupiter, the next planet after Mars. So if you want to go there, bad news. It's relatively far away. And it's just Jupiter. Let's not talk about Saturn or so. We have to go. Saturn is also really far away. Or Pluto or whatever. It's just ridiculously far. Pluto is really far away. It's ridiculously far away. It should be illegal. It's that far away. Where is that Saturn? Come on, should pop up anytime soon, I think. Forgot the number though. Maybe I'm past it. Maybe I blinked and it went by. This is mind blowing, isn't it? And that is just our solar system. There are 100. Let me think about billion of those in our. There's Saturn. Let me think about for a moment. 22, 11, 100. Yeah, 100 billion solar system or star systems are in our Milky Way. It's kind of scary. Yeah, and if I would use this to get to the next star system, it would take us 4 years where it would have to watch the stream to get there. Maybe a bit longer. Kind of insane. And this here is really, and this is as fast as you can physically go as to our current knowledge. There are many more stuff. Yeah, there are 100 billion galaxies, and on average they have 100 billion stars in it. So there's a total number of stars of I don't know the exact number though. I think it's something with like 4 point something, but it's 10 by the power of 22 stars in the known universe. Let's watch the stream for 4 years. Yeah, but isn't that the most shocking thing ever? You think, okay, light speed, that's really fast, and then you click on light speed, and it's shocking. It's kind of disappointing. At least on this scale. Kind of fascinating thing. Something going on here? No, stream already ended. We missed the end of the stream, but there was also David Bowie, I think it was, singing. But yeah, kind of cool, isn't it? It's amazing, yeah, it really is. So today we learned a lot of things on the stream, or during the stream. I hope you enjoyed the NASA part, which is over. We could now play a bit of Cyberpunk, as we usually do, and stay in the sci-fi stuff, even though there is not much space stuff going on in Cyberpunk, only cyber stuff, cyber thing. And spoopy, oh no. Yeah, we can just look into this fascinating program here again. I can remove the pip. Something like this. This is this NASA Eyes on the Solar System thing. Can go into the advanced mode. I think we did just, right? Look at this. This is Voyager 1, where it is. It's just so far away. So far away. It travels so long to get there. Slowly but surely. I think it's also pretty fast. You're a great teacher, Indeed. Thanks. Yeah, the problem is I'm a bit rusty when it comes to my space knowledge. I had it as a side subject at university for some time. This is also a long time ago, so I forgot most of it again. But this thing is kind of fascinating. Planets and moons. Let me see. They're only the that's a bit sad, I guess. Oh, dwarf planets. Ah, okay, I just want to say. So Eris is there. Ceres? Where's Ceres? I always wonder. There it is. Uranus. Oh, we need to zoom out a lot. I wish there would be like a faster way to zoom out. Okay, here it is. Yeah, so here we have some really weird stuff in our system. You see this thing here? That is Sedna. Like, it's one of the dwarf planets, and it seems part of our solar system. Yeah, it's Mars now. I'll mix it up with yeah, this is Eris. It has also, I mean, Pluto has already, as you can see, if we go to the center, it's also fascinating. There's Ceres. It's relatively close to the other stuff. So it's here in between. Here's Eris. You see, what on earth is going on with Eris? So there's Pluto, and outside of Pluto there's some dwarf planets that are really small, and they are part of our solar system. We didn't know about them for a long time. And they are just small, especially this weird thing here. Just look at where this thing here goes. Like, I mean, that's the... I guess it came from outside and was captured by the gravity of the sun or something. Also, Pluto is the weirdest thing on Earth. As you can see, all the things, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, then the smaller ones here, like Mars, Earth, Mercury, and Venus here in the middle. There's the sun, it's also pretty big. If we go to the side, you see that they are relatively good aligned. And now look at Pluto. What's wrong with this guy? He's just doing other things. I think Pluto not only... Is there like a time acceleration thing? Backwards, forwards? Oh, we get a movement. Maybe we have to do this. I just want to point out the weird thing about Mr. Pluto here. Oh, I have trouble navigating now with the free camera. Not sure if we will be able to see it. But look at the direction of this compared to this. You see, it goes in the wrong direction. Every other planet in our solar system agreed on one direction, but Pluto thinks about, hey, let's go the other way around. That's a good thing. We have to deactivate free flight or something. Go Neptune, go. Let's scroll out a bit. So if I do like this, you can probably see it. I'll have to go backwards though. Now I can go forwards again. But you see, everyone is turning this way, and I think Pluto doesn't want it and goes in the opposite direction of the other planet. It's kind of funny. It also has several little tiny moons. Kind of funny. It's a funny planet. It's a dwarf planet now, so it's not considered. It actually does go in the right direction. I remember that it goes in the wrong direction. Maybe I remember it wrong, or it's just because of the trajectory. Maybe I'm wrong though. No, it seems like it goes into the same direction. I remembered it then wrong. I could swear it goes into the wrong direction. Because it's just a weird planet. But yeah, he does weird things. But you see how fast those in the center are spinning, just in comparison. How fast is the outer thing though? Where is it? Let's go with Eris. Yeah, there it is. It also has like a really, really weird form. Same with Sedna. I'm not sure what's going with Sedna though. Where is Eris though? It's really hard to follow those things here. It's so far out. And also Pioneer 1, the 2 Voyages, Pioneer 11, Pioneer 10, also pretty far out. Question is, only our solar system in here? Or is there also... Oh, look, you can actually zoom out quite a lot. Can we see the Milky Way? No. Oh, this is the Milky Way, maybe. Is this a Milky Way? I'm not sure. I'm not convinced though. If that's the Milky Way, then this would be the local group or something. Or is this linear? What's it called? Linear Care? What are the names? Super Galaxy Cluster. What's our galaxy cluster called again? Super Cluster. Lania Care, that's what it's called. Maybe it is that. Could be. Let me see if I can get it on screen. Just have to switch around again. Can't see chat right now. This is you can see it, Lania Care Supercluster. It's a local group. Here are we around somewhere there. These are all not stars, it's galaxies. It's just pretty huge. The Lania Care Supercluster. Kind of nice. Let me see. Yeah, the Milky is at home to the Milky Way. Local group. That's a local group here. Don't know where the Milky Way is, somewhere. Milky Way, here it is. Yeah, it's in the center, I assume, of the local group. It's probably how it's defined. Kind of impressive. Where were we? I need this program here. I could just let open the Lania Care thing. Probably it doesn't look like the local group though. So maybe this is Lania Care, or this is just a little tiny thing of the Milky Way. I'm not sure if this is considered the Milky Way here. Like, it looks a bit like it, you know what I mean? Maybe like a distant Milky Way? Nah, I don't think so. But it would make sense if all these are stars. Here's the sun. Let's go a bit out. Maybe we can see the next star. I assume this here, this little dot here. I'm not sure if you can see it. Here, this little dot over here. I assume that's our neighbor star. In that case, that is Alpha Centauri. That's another one. No, that's... This is not closer, right? So in theory, this should be the next star to the sun. So that's the Alpha Centauri system. I think it's at least a double or triple star system, if I'm not mistaken. Could look that up if people are interested. So there actually is multiple stars in Alpha Centauri. Closest system, blah 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 blah. 4.37 light years from the sun. Alpha Centauri, Alpha hosting. It's a triple star system consisting of the stars Alpha Centauri A, Alpha Centauri B, and Alpha Centauri C. They're very creative. Rigil Kentaurus, Ptolemy, and Proxima Centauri. The other names of it. Wasn't there a discussion if there's even a 4-star part of it? Or is it just a binary star system? I'm not sure. It's binary, I think. Yeah, I think there was a long discussion if it's a binary or if the Proxima Centauri is part of it. I don't remember the discussion of it anymore. I think it was not always considered a triple star system. Yeah, A and B form a binary star system. Alpha Centauri AB to the naked eye, the two main component stars. Yeah, a triple star system with two mainstay stars, Alpha Centauri A and Alpha Centauri B, being a binary component. The AB designation, or older A cross B, denotes the mass center of the main binary system relative to companion stars in multiple star system, or in a multiple star system. ABC refers to the component of Proxima Centauri in relation to the central binary, being the distance between the center of the mass and the outlying companion, because the distance between Proxima and either Alpha Centauri A or B is similar. The A-B binary system is sometimes treated as a single gravitational object. Interesting. But yeah, I assume... Oh, Proxima is also pretty small. I assume Proxima is just a white dwarf. That might be. So it's not as an active. In that case, it would not be an active star anymore. Let me just check it out really quick. Can you see it? You can't. My fault. Small star. Proxima is a red dwarf. Okay, it's not a white dwarf. It's a red. Oh, so it's still active then. The red dwarfs are still active. It's just really, really small. We also, the sun is also a dwarf star. It's not a red dwarf though, but. And here we could see somewhere the size between. So this is Alpha Centauri. It's a little bit bigger than the sun, but Centauri B is smaller than the sun. Kind of fascinating. And here's a triple star system. Pretty far away. So Alpha Centauri A has 1.1 times the mass and of the sun. Okay. Kind of weird that I can't click on this. We just click on the sun, that's probably easier. Should be the same classification. Yeah, the so-called yellow dwarf, that's our sun. Very typical. There's also like a really cool main sequence star. It's here under stars. There might be a size comparison to how big stars can get. No, maybe it's under the main sequence. However, there are, maybe this is probably kind of impressive. This is a sun. They're stars. They have the size of this thing here. It's kind of scary. And that is just a red giant. And then there are, of course, the supergiants. I think the supergiants are even bigger. But they also don't have much lifetime. They don't live there. Here's a list, by the way. So white dwarfs, main sequence dwarfs, that is where the sun is around. Then we have the giants, for example, red giants, bright giants, supergiants, hypergiants. What is a hypergiant? Sounds scary. Yeah, there. This is a hypergiant. This is the one of the biggest stars that I think known or of the observed universe. The Canis Majoris. It's kind of huge. Not sure. I'm not even sure if it's the biggest one though. Is it the biggest? An extreme oxygen-rich red hypergiant or red supergiant? Is it the biggest though? One of the largest known stars. Oh, okay. Here's by the way the cool picture of it. Okay, so this is the biggest thing that is, I guess, around. Is it, or is it the smallest? Not sure if it's. Yeah, it must be Sun Radi. Yeah, it is the biggest one. Must be kind of huge. But this comparison is also kind of scary. So these are the planets. That is Earth. This is Earth. This is Neptune. This is Uranus. This thing here is Saturn. This is Jupiter. It's really big. Gas giants are kind of huge. So this is our sun. And this is Jupiter. So this gigantic thing, let's compare. That is Earth, Jupiter, the sun, pretty big. And now we come to the insanely big things. So yeah, this thing is much bigger than the sun. This thing dwarfs to the size of all those things. This thing here, it gets bigger and bigger, and this tiny ball here is this thing. It's kind of, in my opinion, impressive how big stars can get. It's really sick. And if we go to the list here, let me see if I find it. It's not even the biggest thing that we have in the list here. So there are, as you can see, multiple things that are even bigger. Like those things. 1 pixel of this. Yeah, kind of huge. I think those things are scary in my opinion. Like the sun is already a scary object in space, but it's just so tiny in comparison. Yeah, somewhere here is this gigantic thing. Good that it's not close by. Because stuff of the, I guess, object of this size don't live that long, and if they, I assume they go supernova. I don't want to be close by when they go supernova. Okay, so that was our little space travel thing here. Is there some interesting stuff? Maybe some comets might be interesting. We have Hale Bob, which I saw. I saw Hale Bob. Where is it? Where is it? Let's zoom out quite a lot. Oh, they made even this little, what do you call it? The trail in English? Oh boy, that thing is far away. Wow, look at the, that is such a weird thing. And at some point, I'm not sure if I managed to get it. Wait, can I just click on it? Yeah, okay, I can. So at some point, it gets close to Earth. And I think I saw that. I've forgotten which year that was. Does somebody remember in chat what year it was? I could see it on the sky. Maybe I'm wrong. It's not Hale Bob. It's the other one. We have Halley, of course. Maybe it was Halley. I'm not sure. One of those I definitely saw myself, which was really cool. Its great distance and surprising activity indicated that Comet Hale Bob might become very bright when it reached period 1997. Of the comet scientists worry comets can be extremely unpredictable. May have large outbursts and great distances. So it was 1997. It sounds about right. Yeah. Kind of fascinating stuff. That is, what is Halley doing? Oh, he's here. He also comes close to Earth from time to time. No, I did not see the comet. It was the last time 1986. 9th February. Quite a long time ago. However, 2061 comes back, 28th of July. So mark in your calendars. That's when we see the comet. A lot of objects in our solar system. If you just watch this, what is this? Is this a... Wow. The Siding Spring. Let's look into this. Actually one that can be observed from Mars, it seems. Fascinating. Question is, where's... Should it be on dwarf planets? Let's get some info on Sedna. Planet-like trans-Neptunian object orbiting the Sun at an extreme distance in one of the closest known regions of our solar system. The object since named Sedna for an Inuit goddess who lives at the bottom of the frigid Arctic Ocean, approaches the Sun only briefly during its 10,500-year solar orbit. That's a pretty slow orbit. Can you see this? Yeah, you can. It never enters the Kuiper belt, whose outer boundaries region lies at about 55 astronomical units. Instead, Sedna travels in a long elliptical orbit between 76 and nearly 1,000 astronomical units from the Sun. Since Sedna's orbit takes to such an extreme distance, its discoverers have suggested that it's the first observed body belonging to the inner Oort cloud. Fascinating. So the classification of this object, it links to a page not found, that's unfortunate. So the classification, the planetoid, so it's not sure if it's a dwarf planet. What is the mass of it? Do we know anything about it? Okay, determining its mass is currently impossible without sending a space probe. Good luck on that. So we don't know, that's probably why it has no classification. It's not known if it's a dwarf planet or not. But it's pretty far out there. Pioneer 10. Wouldn't say it's close. Retry zooming out. Yeah, Pioneer 10 is actually pretty close. Well, it of course Pioneer 10 just can't turn around or anything. They don't have the same orbit. I'm actually curious what is the orbit of Pioneer? That is interesting, in my opinion. Then we have the infamous Pioneer anomaly. Doesn't show where they are going. Maybe that's an interesting thing to Google, right? Pioneer 10 orbit. Where is it going? Is there anything we can find on this? No, not really. Well, it just goes straight forward, I guess. I think he also used a Jupiter slingshot. Yeah. I guess most of the things. I'm headed to bed early today. Good night, sleep well, get well soon. So yeah, enough space stuff. I would say we could switch to a bit of Cyberpunk. Do like some mission here. Let me change screens really quick. How do we do this? Let's use the Be Right Back screen for a moment.